Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Hidden Realm Season 1, The God Heist, Episode 10. I am your humble GM, Joshua McGregor. With me, as always, are Mark Crozier as Uldin Mathrovan, Neil Hara as Whatsit, the Worthless, Nin as Asai, James Wilson as Tolton Sparkdeck, and Antonio Kazar as Prince Riodon Othronos.
Princey.
Or Princey.
Princess.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm going to try out something different just to see what it's like. We're going to do our shout-outs in the middle of the episode and at the end rather than the beginning at the end, just to see what happens. See how we like it. Badoo. So we actually just have our recap and then we'll go right in. So last time, it was a couple of weeks ago, we in the interim we had Antonio's Brilliant Nights episode, which was awesome. Looking forward to getting back to that at some point. But 2 weeks ago, episode 9, Henua showed up to taunt Whatsit right at the beginning at the fact that Thano was dead. You guys met Tolton and Neil. You guys met up with Alistair and Dust. Alistair had been quite badly injured in this fight with the zombie Baylor, but they had come out of it all right. You guys made your way back to the ship, made a call to Ray Lavas, who's the leader of the Dreltar, and and Ratfolk forces who were going to finish off the last of Garazan/Sutagel's armies, Darafel's armies. You found out that Henua and a faceless hunter showed up and basically helped wipe out those guys in very short order and claimed that she was the one who had ended the curse of Darafel instead of you guys, and completely ignored your the sacrifice of Thano. Instead, claiming that all of you were heretics and enemies of Vulpecaar.
Such a scat.
She needs to pay for that.
Well, she is not happy with all of you.
Oh, diddums.
She won't be happy when I finish with her.
I believe it. In the meantime, Antonio Riodon went and got caught up in a very strange, chaotic experience or vision that saw him face to face with the Accord, which is the magical compact between all of the kingdoms and gods of Cygalia. And he learned that originally Cygalia was a realm of almost pure imagination, where nothing really had meaning and everything could be anything, until everybody decided to give the world meaning and solidify everything into the cosmology that you know of.
Beautiful concept.
And the world that you know of. Well, thank you, Melly. He made a pact with the Accord, which has given him a renewed connection with Cygalia, and has given him access to a talking sword, who is by his side and seems to be made out of fractured pieces of reality. That's kind of cool.
It is.
He found himself in a forest and met up with Asai, had gone to the Forest of Whim to kind of get back to a more natural place, following some weird events in some tunnels where she met some people. By the same, and this is also where we introduced Uldin Mathrovan, who is a ex-High Warden, kind of the Grey Orthodoxy, who went off. Old friend of Alistair's. They, got told that he was AWOL. And everybody kind of met up. You guys met up with Aegeus Rothanel, who's the champion of Coralon, and also with Lacarian, who's the champion of Melora, who's a druid with a pet bear called Lazarus. You guys bamfed your way over to there, and the last we left off is the evening. You guys are all near this tower that Ulden has, or in this tower that Ulden has constructed with this magic. The Alacrity is parked outside, and like that's where we are, and that's where we will begin.
So, what are we doing today then?
Alistair speaks up. Right. We've got a couple of options, really. We've got the Orb of Gamath, right? So we've got
Which one are they? Which one are they?
The orb that you've got. The orb
yeah. That's and no one's having that off me.
Nor would we try to take it off.
Ah,
of you.
good. That's all right. His name's now. His name. He's got a name.
The orb has a name.
Yeah.
What have you named it?
I'm not telling you.
So the Agamath orb is powerful enough to absorb a stream of source, one of the ones that keeps up the floating islands. So in theory, we could undo the prison around your god Pelor on Vulpecaar.
But that would be storming a heavily guarded prison.
You know that they're going to be waiting for us, and probably in greater numbers now than they were when you guys were in prison there.
That gets my vote.
So we could always wait for some reinforcements, but they will be within a few days, apparently. Aegeus?
Yes, right on.
When did you say this portal was opening? Or when this event is happening?
Which portal are you talking about?
On the last time we played, a message was sent from Lacarian and Aegeus that an event was happening and there was some way to communicate with the other side. That's
correct. Forgive me. He says there isn't a portal so much as a way of... There's somebody with knowledge who could help us get a portal going, up and running. We've been on a little adventure of our own, Lacarian and I, trying to stay ahead of Vulpecaar, the Inquisitor of the Grey Orthodoxy. We came down the river of Sea's Reach into Lake Sin to get here, etc., etc. We were informed that there is a being within the Forest of Whim, on whose borders you guys are camped, that knows how to bypass interdimensional barriers between worlds. Whether that is enough for just communication, or enough to actually get us home, we were not entirely sure, but that was our best lead. And then you showed up and just have the ability to do ascending back home. So...
well, it opens up a few options if we can get a portal back home. I can bring in a large proportion of the army of Garindia. But that would be classified as a full-scale invasion, which I'm sure the Vulpecarians will not enjoy and will not go well against us.
I've got a few mates that are waiting the other side as well.
My suggestion is we don't invade.
I don't know who said that we're invading. We're just coming over for a party. Eh?
I understand, but the Vulpecarians won't see it that way, especially because Henua will twist and turn. My suggestion, and it's definitely not my expertise, is some subterfuge.
The Thano way.
Yes, the Thano way. And to spread some propaganda, well, it's not propaganda if it's truth, that Henua is, in fact, fiend or undead.
We could just say we could just like put out big messages that I'm stood in a field and I'm here to give her a big kicking. And we draw her out sort of in the open, and then she goes, all right, then this is going to be an easy fight. And then we all like pile on.
I suppose.
Dust is gonna get in on this and just say, you do raise a couple of interesting points. This is not his voice at all. What am I doing? You do raise a couple of interesting points. If we assault Vulpecaar, we do have the cloaking on the Alacrity, so it's possible we could make it past their defenses. I don't know. I don't know about making out afterwards. I don't. It's and it's possible. It's possible that there are barriers through which they'll be able to know that we are coming. There are big what ifs.
Gonna take my helmet off, and I'm gonna go. What's it?
Yeah.
Why don't we do a bit of Thano and a bit of a what's it way here?
Right. So we sneak behind them and then kick them at the ass.
Kind of. How about we find out how to open up a portal to Sigalia. We sneak into Vulpecaar, open the portal in Vulpecaar, and then invade Vulpecaar from inside.
All right. Hang on. Let me catch up. All right. And then I like it.
While
You're muted,
talking.
Mark.
Oh.
Oh, you're not anymore.
No, you're good.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. While everyone's been talking, Ulden's just been sort of writing in his notebook again, and he just randomly sort of stops, looks up at Alistair, and he just says, "Could you tell whoever's playing that damned music to stop? These people are trying to have a conversation."
Alistair. Did your research happen? Have you been in contact with Alistair since then?
Probably not. He
Okay.
would have went totally AWOL.
Okay, I'm gonna roll insight.
Okay. And he's looking genuinely kind of annoyed. Like, these people are trying to talk. Why are you interrupting them with your music?
Ulden, there is no music playing right now.
Well, of course there is. Can't you hear it? Is it that someone's playing? What is that? A piano or a harpsichord?
He's gonna go over to you and take your shoulder. Ulden, are you all right?
Well, of course I'm all right. Why wouldn't I be all right? What are you talking about? We're having a conversation here.
I don't know what's going on, but he's going to detect magic on you, or just detect magic in general. Doesn't really see anything discernible going on. Lets it go. His eyes crackling. I can't see anything. You're not affected by anything, but there's no music that I can hear. Can anybody else hear any music?
Are you all right, Alistair? What are you talking about music for? Oh, music.
I'm confused. What?
Sorry.
Yeah. What'd you say? Said what?
Alistair says there's someone playing music.
You just...
Ulden, is this going to be too much for you?
What are you talking about?
You said that there was music playing.
I didn't know such thing.
All right, a very funny joke. Let's continue with the war meeting, shall we?
Any joke? I'm not joking. You're the one talking about music.
And I'll take
goes
Tolton
back
to
to
the
writing.
side, and just whilst this was all going on, and I say, Tolton, like, you know those two rings? Like, well, I've done some stuff with them, and they both got like weird stuff on them.
That doesn't really tell me very much.
All right, well,
Explain what you mean.
Well,
by, I've done some things with it, and it's got
Right.
some weird things on it.
well, the the ring that you know, the controversial ring that old Deadface.
That's fine, yeah.
Yeah, that's him.
Right.
Right, that he didn't want me to have. Well, that one, you know about that one, but they can scry on. Well, I want to do something with that ring, but I'll come back to that one in a minute. Right, guys, it's a really great idea. You'll really like it. You might be able to help me. Right, but the other ring, that one's also got something weird on it as well. It's not like the other one, but it's like the other one. It's
that's really helpful. What's it?
Right. Okay.
That clears everything up. Thank you so much for explaining that.
All right.
Someone's now sitting there going,
I'll put my clever hat on, and he gets out a small little child's hat from his side, and he puts that on his head.
That's obviously too small for him.
Oh yeah, obviously too small for him, and says, "Well, all right, I've got my clever hat on now. That one, it takes like."
Right, the one you're pointing to, that's your one?
No, I'm not wearing it. No, the one I'm wearing is Alice Vane's ring. Right. So
why are you wearing his one?
Because I didn't want them to kind of look in on me, and I'll come back to the reason why I can stop that. Right. So I wear an Alice Vane's ring. Right. That one, whenever anyone casts a spell that's wearing the ring, it takes note of what spell they're casting.
Where did these rings come from originally again?
Did we nick them? I think
DM coming in to let you know.
You guys found them in the thingy, didn't we?
In the armory of Vulpecaar when you guys were escaping.
Neil knows that. What's it like? You know.
No.
I think we nicked them.
No, we procured them. I don't still think. Okay.
I do.
Yeah, but you didn't find them. We did. They were mixed in with our items as we collected our items.
All right, if you insist, that's very confusing.
If it's all right, Tolton, if you could roll me an intelligence check.
Okay. What's that? Insight or just
no, just intelligence.
Right, with modifier or?
Yeah, so whatever your modifier to intelligence.
16.
16.
Not very good this time.
With 16, is it different if it's history? Do you have anything?
No, it would have been the same.
The same?
Although with history being a gnome, it's slightly different if it's to do with magical items.
No, this is just
right.
Okay. You remember? I think. If I get this canonically wrong, I'm sorry, but I think this is what happened. I think that when Breniel Amakir was breaking you out, he let you know that those were going to be there with your stuff when he was helping you out.
He did,
yeah.
He did.
He only told it to Alice Vane, though.
Exactly.
He only told Alice Vane?
And Alice Vane didn't share that.
They didn't share that. Okay, so never mind what I said.
Rewind. It didn't happen.
But there was one that was specifically labeled for Riodon.
Anyway. Right, so that's that. But what I want to do with like the ring, they can come in, have a look on us right? I want to. Yeah, my one that I'm not wearing.
Okay.
Right. I need your help. You do like stuff with magic items and things, do you?
Kind of. It depends what you want to do with it.
See, I can make items, and I can make them a bit magical, but that's just because like Grumsh is awesome. You're
entitled to your opinion.
No, it's a fact. Okay. You're alive, aren't you?
So are you.
Yeah, well, that's because I'm the champion of Grumsh, and I'm awesome.
I'm not alive because I worship Grumsh, because I don't.
No, you're alive because Grumsh is awesome.
Anyway, we're detracting from the point.
Anyway, but I want to like record like an image that appears when they look at me, right? And I think what would be really appropriate is that all they see is me looking at them whilst I'm pushing one out on the toilet.
Okay, interesting. Or maybe the view from up your nose.
Nah, I like it when they see my poop go down.
Okay, so would that be the view from the toilet looking up?
Yeah, that could be. No, they need to know it's me.
Okay.
Or maybe the actual toilet see-through, so they see it go. Whoop.
Okay. Well, I do have skills in tinkering. Maybe we can, with some research and some practice, and maybe incorporating some of these weird sigils and runes that the local people use, along with my tinkering skill, some of your knowledge as well of construction of items. Maybe we can put that all together somehow, and some form of, well, I suppose it's kind of like an anti-scrying image.
Yeah. If you
Are you just agreeing with me now?
I may be.
Okay, then yes, we can have a play. That sounds very interesting and something I would like to be involved in.
All right, let's do that then. As long as we do the poopy thing.
Okay.
All right.
Well, to start with, it might be an idea to do something completely random, just so that we know it works, and then maybe we could, so to speak, up the ante each time. So we could start off with something just silly.
A poo.
And then each time it just gets more and more.
So I'd say they see a picture of me with like a small poo, and then the poo just gets bigger each time. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, okay, we could possibly do that.
All right, okay. And then I'll leave it at
that. All right, Tolton immediately gets his notebook out. He's going, and then like he'll reach out, he'll say to somebody, sigils and local runes and what does this do and that sort of thing, and start drawing up and making notes and.
Cool. The people who would be able to kind of compare notes with you are Esme Rose and Alistair.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Aegeus will see what you're doing and be like, "Oh, what is that?"
I'm gonna walk up to Aegeus and go, I've already made inquiries. The elves aren't having him. Garendia's having him.
Are some of the things that he's showing the spell tongue stuff?
Yes.
When you start showing that around, Alden immediately becomes intrigued by you, and he approaches you quite grandly, floats to you, puts a hand on your shoulder. He's quite tall compared to you. He says, "Where did you learn those things?"
Everybody's tall compared to me, mate.
Well, true. Where did you learn those runes?
From using knowledge of my own and comparing and reading and researching and talking and interacting with locals.
Do you understand what it is that you're holding there, showing to people?
They're runes. That's where
you
draw your power from.
No, they are not simply runes. No, they are something very, very wonderful. They were actually discovered by an old friend of mine.
Interesting.
They're known as spell tongue.
That's what they call them around here, but they just look like runes from where I'm from.
Well,
it's like a runic language almost. But
well, yes, it is like a language, yes.
Exactly, but it pulls upon the I believe you call it the source,
yes,
or the stream of source or something, and so it's almost the way how would we put it, a mage would use their arcane knowledge to weave the strands of magic, but this would do it through not necessarily verbal commands, but more a written word. A bit like a scroll, but far more powerful and complex.
You know more than most people in this land, let alone someone from another realm. How exactly you say you learned these from just observing and studying and whatnot?
Yeah.
Has Henua allowed this to become such common knowledge that even anyone can find it?
No, we was in the prison and I just sat there and looked at the rooms.
See, scribble something down in his note. Have you ever heard of somebody called Erua?
Is that a name we've used?
It is. Erua is the name of one of the exalted wardens that Alistair fought as you guys
That's right.
Vulpecaar.
So then, yeah, I'd share that I have, but obviously it's a very limited knowledge. It's not something.
Yeah.
Have you ever spoke with Erua?
No.
Certainly not about the Spelltongue, then.
No. The only person I've spoken to about Spelltongue is obviously now you two, and the people here, and one gnome that I met while I was imprisoned, and that wasn't for very long.
Definitely something I shall have to speak with Henua about next time I converse with her. Slams his book shut.
What's the? I don't understand what the problem is.
Well, you see, the discovery of the Spelltongue was a very grand discovery indeed, and it was discovered by a man that I worked alongside with for a long time ago. Powerful wizard. He actually founded the Orthodoxy.
No, I didn't know that, but okay.
Well, now you do.
At which point, I'm now writing notes down. Is this the bit when you're going, oh, can I just see what you've written?
So, yes.
The last thing he does is just sort of, when he sort of starts talking about this man he worked with a long time ago, for a long time, his face sort of drops a little bit. Yeah. Fine was it indeed.
Was?
He just sort of slowly turns around and just sort of drifts off.
Yeah, eccentric.
Alistair is going to follow up just slightly with you, Ulden. He's going to say, Ulden, you're saying Erua discovered the Spelltongue.
Did I say
Then
that?
That's what you said. Do you know how? Where? This so far be before my lifetime. I'm very young compared to you.
I said that. Well, him and I talked a lot about a lot of different things, a lot of different times, and a lot of different places, really. Many times he spoke to me about his research. Of course, I had my own research going on at the same time, but I did pick up things here and there, so to speak.
So you don't know where he picked this up?
I'm not sure. Sort of starts like flicking quite aggressively through his notes. He goes, and he puts that notebook in his bag and he pulls out another one and starts. This one's full from front to back of writing. And he starts flicking through it, and he just becomes consumed by this flicking through his notes.
Amazing stuff. So, Tolton, you are going over the Spelltongue runes.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and make me an Arcana check, please.
16.
16. You have started to be able to pick out specific runes that have specific meanings. So on the ring that Whatsit has given you, the one with the scry, or at least that you're able to look at with the one with the scry, that one has the word mark on it. As in, it's not necessarily the word mark, but it is a symbol that indicates here, if that makes sense.
Right, and that's on Watsit's ring.
That's on what the ring that Watsit had originally.
Okay.
And the word dampen is on it as well. On Alice Fane's old ring, the one that Watsit has on, it also has the word dampen, and then the symbol for monitor is on it as well. Knowing those runes, in theory, you could create a rune circle using them.
Right, okay.
and put magic into it for an effect. Now, because the wording is so vague, the effect, if it were to have an effect, would be very, very loose.
Mm-hmm.
But the more words you crew, the more specific you can get, the more powerful it becomes.
Okay.
So mark, dampen, and monitor is what you've got.
Okay. And I've just discovered that now while looking at this and all the rest of it. Okay, yeah?
Yeah, you could have, thanks to him, thanks to Watson having used Identify to be able to describe to you what the effects are, you're able to match up with some of your notes, and yeah.
Something I'd like to go and talk to the I've forgotten her name, the gnome on the ship.
Esme Rose. Yeah.
Esme Rose, that's it. Go and talk to Esme Rose, and I'm going to say, so I've figured out what these different words, they kind of interact with this particular ring and everything like that. And I'm going to show them to her and say, is this something you recognize? Does this make sense to you? Just go through all the runes, how they work, what they say, what they mean, and all the rest of it. Sure.
Yeah, she, if you show her like the specific wording and stuff, she'll be like, oh yeah, no, this makes sense. She wouldn't be familiar with dampen as a word, she's more used to them being used as alternatives to like teleportation circles and stuff like that. But you show her your notes and she starts to be able to like, okay,
obviously then I'd explain, how the word dampen would relate, whether it be a dampening field to prohibit this or to a dampening field to stop spells from around here from working, that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's this word, in and of itself is very unspecific, and so the rest of the wording around the ring has got to be the wording that makes it specific to the effect that transitional between the ring and Cygalia, and it's got the wording. The rest of it's got to be quite specific. So you can kind of deduce what the rest of it in general means, but in terms of which runes mean what, it's not entirely clear yet.
I'm going to follow up with asking her: would she? Would you know how? If I wanted to find, knowing what this ring is, obviously, if you know something about somebody or you know somebody specifically, you tend to be able to say, locate them or locate an item or an object if you know what it is. Would you know anything or know anybody that would allow me to maybe try and do such a thing on one of these rings, say now?
You mean you want to be able to find somebody who has one of the rings?
Not necessarily. Oh, that'd be lovely for future reference, yes. But I mean, like now, knowing that this ring is here, I know where it is. But obviously, from the way it portrays, if I was to, what I want to know is if you were wearing the ring, and I wanted to locate you or see what you were doing through knowing where this ring is.
So, from what I understand from what you've shown me, this symbol that marks where somebody is a proxy for having a lot of knowledge about somebody for the scry spell.
Yeah, exactly. Scrying, yes. So do you know how I would go about doing that through this particular mark?
It seems to me that you'd have to mark something, and if you put the mark on something, then you will be able to scry to that person or location.
But surely I would need then to know the spell tongue for scry.
No, you could use a normal scry spell. You could use a normal scry spell. What the mark is like an anchor. Yeah. Usually you need to have like a very clear image in your head. You've got to know exactly. But with this mark, it basically is a proxy for that effect. It's you could in theory do it for all kinds of things. You could mark a place on the ground that you could go to with a teleport spell. You mark a particular location, combine it with like an alarm spell so that you get an alarm when something moves across.
And then you'll get a notification almost. See, that's why I'm trying to do it, because what I want to do is I want to not necessarily counter the scry. I'm more than happy for the scry to go through. What I want to do is, obviously, these rings were procured. whoever knows about these rings could obviously discover where we are right now, see through them, know what we're doing, that kind of thing. So what I want to do is I want to be able to give a false image if they were to scry. Do you see what I mean? So I want to, in theory, I would like to be able to go scry this ring and tell me what you see, and then I put almost like you know how with the image I did for the orphans and things like that.
Yeah.
I would like to be able to for them to see an image that I dictate rather than the image that they
of the actual of the room. The simplest thing you can do, this is just DMing, the simplest thing you can do is set up a little hologram next to the ring in a bag of holding.
Yeah.
If you want to hijack a scry spell, that's much more complicated and not something that somebody's going to know how to do.
Yeah.
So if you just set up an illusion, if it's inside a bag of holding, it's not going to show at where you guys actually are.
No, but then it's going to need a permanent illusion spell rather than just a temporary illusion spell.
Yeah, it will need refreshing, basically.
Oh, I have an idea. Is there any way of making it so that when you know how a counter scry is possible? I understand that you then jump on their scry spell or block. You can block a scry spell. I understand that. But is there any way of making it so that when a scry, you're being scried, a spell is like the scry is being put upon you, like through this room, to notify you, not to stop it, not to change it, just to notify you through spell tongue,
like a modified alarm spell.
Like a modified alarm spell. Okay, I can. If you leave it with me, I can see. I'll see what I can do. I'll do a little bit of tinkering with what I know.
Because what's it? You're with me, aren't you?
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to turn to what's it.
But not paying any attention.
No. But I'm going to get your attention. I'm going to sort of give you a shove. I'm going to go. See, I've got an idea. If we can make it so that this ring was to shake, vibrate, make a sound, or warm up, shall we say, when you're about to be scried, if we can put maybe one of my tinkering skills to work here, when that happens, if that could happen just before they're going to scry, maybe if you was to be able to just touch that ring, it would conjure an illusion temporarily for them to see what you want them to see, so that then it's not a permanent illusion spell all the time.
Yes. What's it? Just goes.
Okay, I will explain. I will explain this easier.
Right.
Okay.
No.
Right.
It's
when the ring gets warm or shakes, you touch it. It conjures an image for the viewer that's trying to find you of you on the toilet temporarily.
Right, got you. I think I understand that.
Esme Rose is
touch it. They see me poo.
Yeah.
If what you're looking for is just a small permanent illusion, that's going to be so much easier to figure out than what you're describing. It's if you just have like a little illusion on a coin or something, you leave that with me for
basically I just wanted to warn him before the scry comes through. That's it.
I have no idea how we would do that. I've not the first inkling how we would.
It's that, or we counter scry so that when the scry comes in, it doesn't stop it. It just shows them an image of what we want to see. That's it.
Yes.
You leave that with Esme Rose. She'll start to work on it.
Thanks. I knew you were the man, Tolton.
I'm going to then, while we're doing that, I'm going to take what's it off in a different direction, and I'm going to say, I've got something else for you.
What's that?
Going to walk off. We're going to walk off down to the workshop area, the engine room, whatever you want to call it, because I want to do some bits and pieces with him.
Cool.
Okay?
Yeah.
Is this romance blossoming?
I was in the air.
Wouldn't that be
He's my master blaster.
What I'll do is I'll direct message both yourself.
Yeah.
And they'll just it's nothing difficult.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
and then other people can get on.
Cool. So that while all of that is going on, in terms of making a plan, Lucarian is just going to just try to clarify. So what you're saying is we should go into the heart of the Forest of Whim to see if we can find a way to create a portal to Saigalia.
That's correct.
All right, that works for me. That's why I'm here. I've got a little bit of a personal investment in finding out what's going on in this world. As you, if you see what I mean, I actually, there's something maybe you guys don't know, but I think I should probably tell you. Is I'm the reason that we're here in the first place.
And he'll turn around and go, Daddy?
No, what's it? I'm sure. I'm
sure. Just kidding. I know that. I just thought that was funny.
The bear laughs as well.
Yeah.
He just says, I am actually an astronomer.
Okay.
I was raised on Saigalia, and I have been trying to find out where I'm from my whole life, and I apprenticed under Avocat Shearwater for a while. And when I was apprenticed under him, I had looked through some of the astronomy work and picked out a star at random to start researching, and it turned out that one of the planets around that star was Vulpecaar. It seems like too much of a coincidence to me that I picked it out. It seems like I might be Vulpecarian originally.
That's interesting.
I don't know, but if there's any way to find out, it might be at the heart of this forest. So I just wanted to apologize. I know it's not my responsibility, but it is cause and effect because of me that Saigalia made contact with Vulpecaar in the first place. So
it's not the end of the world yet.
Yet. Well, let's see if we can't prevent that. All right, well, it's late now. Why don't we all get some rest, head into the forest in the morning, and you guys remember that this is the forest. This forest made it completely intact through the Sundering War that blew up most of the planet. The gods did not include this forest in whatever plans they had, whatever their armies were going towards. So there's something about this place that is mysterious. Is there anything anybody would like to do before the morning?
I'm going to, with what What's It Up understands, he will communicate with Grumsh, letting him know what he understands of the plan is, and what from me I think he got was that they're going to attempt to open up a portal, to learn how to open up a portal, but then open up that portal right into the prison.
Yeah.
I'll kind of update Grumsh on that regards, and with the view of we're getting closer. You have to get the lads ready.
You start to do like the messaging thing, like the thing.
Yeah, the Morse code with cantrips.
The Morse code with cantrips. And you can feel an immediate difference immediately. It's easier to cast Like, it's a lot simpler. You can feel your connection to Sigalia has gotten a lot stronger.
Oh.
And Grumsh is gonna say, "Well, hey there, what's it? You wouldn't happen to be near somebody who has a direct link with the Accord, would you?"
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I might be. I think so. I will say that sounds like a lot of big words, but I think so.
I can hear your voice, man. This is great. Hey, I can talk to you again.
Yeah. How you doing, boss?
Oh, what's it? It's so good to hear your voice. Honestly, things are very tense back home.
Oh.
There's a meeting that's been called from the leaders of the 10 Kingdoms, because you guys got in touch.
Yeah.
It's looking like we might be getting ready to invade Vulpecaar, yeah?
Yeah, getting the lads ready.
Oh, and I intend to be there with my boys.
Yeah, and I'm gonna kill her.
Who are you gonna kill?
I've forgotten her name.
Is this the one who killed Thano?
Yeah, that's her. I'm gonna kill her.
If I get to her first, I'll save her for you.
I'll arm wrestle her. I'll arm wrestle you for her.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
No, we'll arm wrestle for fun, but honestly, you deserve revenge.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some very nasty things.
Like a true-born son of Grumsh.
Yeah.
Luthic and Ilnev all send their love.
Yeah. Give him a cuddle.
I will.
All right. I'll let everyone know that I can talk to you.
Sure. I mean,
can they talk to like, their lesser gods? Because obviously they're all lesser to you.
Well, this is something I actually wanted to talk to you about. Ilneval's been telling me that it might not be a good idea for you to tell people that you can talk to me. For strategic reasons.
All right. Well, I get that. That makes sense. Yeah, all right. Well, keep it on the down low.
Because here's the thing, right? Our goal is for the orcs to get a big share of Vulpecaar so that we have a nation of our own.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
And if the others know that that's what we're going to do, potentially they won't like it very much.
Because
they're under the impression that, maybe we'll split it up evenly, and we're thinking, we weren't part of the... We got kind of shunted out of the 10 Kingdoms part of the Accord.
They wouldn't have been able to do it without the champion of Grumsh, would they? So
that's exactly right. Right. So it will be easier to apologize than to ask permission. You see what I mean?
I get that. Yeah. We do it the what's it way.
We do it the what's it way. Yeah.
All right. Got that. All right.
Great.
Got ya. All right. I'll keep it on the down low.
On the DL.
Yeah.
I'm hip with the slang of the orcs these days.
All right. Have a good rest, boss. And
I never need to sleep. I'll go and kill something.
Lucky. Oh, that's lucky. All right. Yes. Have a good fight.
Thank you. And happy hunting out there. Get us a portal so we can get over there, yeah?
Yeah. I'm on it.
Amazing.
Brilliant.
Awesome. Anybody else?
I think before going to bed, I want to try and use my newfound power to try and communicate with all of the gods.
Cool.
And get them in a not a meeting, but just trying to see if I can do it. That's the aim, I think.
Go ahead and roll me a D100.
Oh. Aha. I got 9.
You get a 9. And your sword is going to speak up and it's going to go, I don't think that I can do that today.
I'm just going to I'm going to think, not say, and go, oh, we can try tomorrow then.
I mean, yeah, we can try tomorrow. I never know.
Gosh, I don't have to talk out loud. I don't have to sound like an idiot. That's amazing. I'm going to say that out loud as well.
You know, yeah, that's, you know, we can just try. I don't know from day to day what I'm going to be able to do, boss.
That's okay, Sword. Everything's okay.
All right. As long as you're not mad at me.
No, I'm not mad at you. I mean, here's something for you to think about. I don't know if you need to sleep. I doubt it. Come up with a name for yourself.
Oh. All right. I'll think about it. Cool.
Okay.
Didn't you call it Puddle?
There was a name.
I did call it Puddle.
Oh, you did.
I did call it Puddle.
It was in the chat from the game, wasn't it?
It is, and therefore you are called Puddles.
Puddles?
Yes.
Like little pools of water on the ground?
Similar.
Oh. Well, Puddles. On Puddles the sword. Puddles the sword of the champion of Pelor. That's really cool. I like that. All right.
I like Puddles.
Puddles. I'll let you go to sleep now.
That fits in with his personality so well.
Yeah, it really does. That's awesome.
I love that sword. I want to give him a big hug. And that's a Neil hug, not a what's it hug.
No, please.
Yeah.
Oh. Amazing. You guys get a full night's rest. Jim, what you've messaged me about, 100% you can do that.
Excellent. Almost like you have the. I was thinking about maybe two shoulders, but I think one shoulder would be better. So whichever is the shield shoulder, if you know what I mean. His defensive shoulder.
So it's a pauldron for the arm that has a shield.
Yeah, that side. Because what I haven't told him yet, but what I envision is like how you have, you see it in all the cartoons and everything else when you have the little devil and the little angel on your shoulders, a bit like that, so that it's always on his shoulder. Him and they're together. They're all just a little on his shoulder all the time.
Cool. So he has modified some of Thanos' armor to create a pauldron for you so that you can have a little keepsake. Essentially. It's not going to increase your AC, but
no.
It's
like a section. It's a section
of aesthetic. I love it.
Of Thanos' armor. The bits that we made together, the spikes and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. That all are put together. But so that it's an image in sort of leather and metal and everything else of the spikes and all that. So it's an image of him and you.
Yeah.
With your arm around each other and So that Thanos always on your shoulder and he's behind your shield so that you're always protecting him.
When he sees it, you're like what's it go quite quiet, and quiet and
go on.
Oh, go on.
I was going to say the plan is for when you go to sleep, for me to steal your armor because you're not going to sleep.
Yeah.
And add it on there, so that when you wake up and put it on in the morning, it's there for you.
So you won't know who done it.
That's so cute.
Yeah. Love it. Cuddles.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. I love it.
Like two guys out for a good time.
Yeah.
Your arm around each other. It's like, hey.
Yeah. No. I freaking love it. I love it. I'll be sleeping deeply. There'll be no reason why I'll be thinking. I'm sure you'll be able to get the armor without me noticing.
So on that image, on your image of Thanos on the screen behind you, obviously, your not Thanos what's it? Sorry, your left shoulder is what's its
saucepan.
Yeah, that's his. That would be a shield arm, wouldn't it? Yeah. So basically, it would have been an attachment to go onto as part of that saucepan.
Amazing.
Okay?
Freaking love it.
So that it doesn't alter the aesthetic of like change what's already there.
Yeah.
It just adds to it.
Yeah. I love it. I freaking love it.
Cool.
Morning comes. And various NPC allies are making preparations to head into the forest. Lacarian's going to ask, he's going to go to a sigh. No worries. She's going to say, you are the other one here who is most connected to nature.
She nods her head enthusiastically.
How would you think it best to proceed to the heart of this forest? They obviously have their airship, so we could go quite quickly over the top, or we could traverse in the woods themselves. It's a little bit of a slower route, but potentially gives us a chance to have a feel out of what kind of energies we're going to be encountering before we land, before we get where we need to go.
She looks up at the sky, just like thinking like with a really stare, but she's trying her best to think, and she just shrugs.
Shall I toss a coin for it then, little sister?
She nods, but curiously, huh?
He takes out a copper piece and
she takes it.
You grab it out of the air?
She grabs it out of his hand before he even starts to do anything with it.
He looks at you, goes, huh. All right.
She holds it really close up to her face, looking at it ooh, shiny.
Oh, I see. That one's you can keep.
She's like, oh, and she takes out her frog and shows it to him, and it's like, look at shiny like you. And then puts them both in her bag.
You see this frog kind of go as it goes into he takes out another one and he's going to toss a coin. And for this, I'm going to say, evens. He thinks it's probably a better idea to fly, and odds probably a better idea to walk. And that is evens.
So we're flying.
Yeah, and he says potentially expediency for our mission is preferable. It means we won't have as good an idea of what we. This is just his opinion. You guys can overrule if you think it's wiser to do the other thing. But he says it's essentially, the more time we spend on the ground, the more we'll know about the woods before we get to its heart. But the more of a chance for our enemies to continue to make preparations against us. So.
Can we hear him saying this?
Yeah. This is to everybody when you're up. Yeah.
So Ulden is sort of standing listening to him, and he says, well, why not both?
What do you mean?
Well, we could, most of us could go in flying on the ship, while perhaps someone or something flies lower to the ground, keeping an eye out for things.
I suppose that's
before
an idea. Are
he
you thinking
can even
of
finish
Asai
replying, he just goes 16. Damn it, Sigma, where are you?
on one of the rafters.
Get down here. Get down. Come down here this instant. I will poof you again.
Wow. He flies down dejectedly.
You. Yes, right. You are going to fly lower down to the ground as we're going into the forest beneath the ship. Yes, you have a very important job, Sigma. You're going to keep an eye out for anything strange, and you're going to relay it back to me. Remember, like how we tested? Yes? Yes, very good. Right, problem sorted then.
Question.
Oh, go on. You carry on then.
Sorry.
You just cut your camera off.
and the audio.
That's
and
definitely
muted
a quick
yourself.
question.
That was very quick. Sorry.
What's happening?
Can you actually understand your cat?
With Find Familiar, there is a telepathic communication.
Okay.
Cool.
Just double check.
What's it will come out with the ball, with the glowing ball, or the not so glowing ball now. He'll come out with the ball in his hands. Obviously, he's got his new armor with a modification. He went out going, "See, I knew, Thano. I knew what everyone said that you hadn't left me. So I can see that you've left this on my armor to let me know that you're still here. And I knew you hadn't left, and I knew you would not do it. Absolutely, I knew that because it is Thano and What's It. So it's all good. So yeah."
There's one piece of housekeeping that I should do at this point, as you that's so sweet and sad. You guys do still have Thanos' body.
Yeah.
On the ship. You haven't found a place to bury that yet.
Yeah,
Or-
that'd be in the bunk above me.
Oh God. Oh, okay.
Why do you think he sleeps so sound?
Okay. All right. Fine. Okay. Just so that you know that is a thing and that is there. I think it's been like 2 days since he's been dead. So this is day 3. You've got 7 more days before.
I would probably have cast.
I think it's like gentle repose.
Yeah, it's gentle.
I would have cast gentle repose on his body to stop it from degrading.
I made the assumption that you did that
yeah.
last time. Yeah. Fantastissimo.
Wait, when I say he's on the bed above me, I mean he is covered in a shroud and stuff like that.
okay.
You know.
Okay.
Yeah. He's not What's It sex doll.
No, I don't think anybody.
That wasn't the assumption.
I don't think that was the assumption. Gee whiz.
I don't think anybody had that entered anybody's head. I mean, come on, the surgeon isn't here anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I was going with that.
For goodness sake, man.
Goodness me.
He is in spirits.
I would have said it's more than spirit now, judging from that comment.
Brilliant.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna move on.
Let's do that.
Just while we're on the ship,
Yes.
Rhydon's going to go up to Regis and quite loudly, quite boisterously go, "Do you remember the Battle of Banning Hill?"
I would have to be some kind of a brain-damaged goblin not to remember the Battle of
And
the
then
Hill.
I'm just going to kind of give that inspiring speech with you all and do the inspiring leader feat
Absolutely.
and give everyone 10 temporary hit points.
Woo!
70 hit points.
How long do they last?
24 hours.
Oh, cool.
How many?
10.
10.
10.
10, yeah. 24 hours or until you take a long rest.
Yeah. Or short rest.
Do they go on? I thought they persist through a short rest.
No, creature can't gain temporary... Oh, no, sorry. Can't gain temporary hit points within this way. Yeah, apologies.
You guys all get onto the ship. There's quite a crew of you guys. It's not an army, but there are a bunch of very powerful individuals. Yourselves and your NPC allies. And set off 16, Sigma is going to be flying down low as you make your way down southwest toward the heart of the Forest of Whim. And that seems like a good place for a 10-minute break.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Okay, yes, lovely.
Honestly, I can't wait out of character to smite something. I'm just so gunning to. I just so want to smite something.
It is one of the most satisfying feelings.
I think we got some shoutouts.
Yes, we've got some shoutouts. Are we still up?
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. The shoutouts, of course, that we need to start with are Black Lives Matter, frontline workers, everybody, NHS, and everybody who is working at the moment. Just a huge shout out to all of you, because of course COVID is still very much a thing. It's very much happening, and there are a lot of people who are still greatly affected by the pandemic. So, and everybody who's out there, please try to stay safe and socially distance as much as you can. It's getting harder and harder as more and more things are open, but it's still very important. So please do that. And of course, justice for Regis Korchinski Paquet. Make sure that that tragedy gets properly investigated. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back after a very short break.
See you shortly.
See you soon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Thank you for sticking with us after the break. And we are on the deck of the Alacrity, flying over the very, very, very tall trees of the Forest of Whim. These trees are even taller than the ones that you guys saw when you were in the woods in Balmoral, outside Balmoral. Just absolutely enormous and very difficult to see anything that's going on underneath the foliage as you pass overhead. 16 flies above the treetops, and you hear in your telepathic connection with the cat's like basically saying if it doesn't go below the treetops, it's not going to be able to see anything, basically.
I reply back to him telepathically, just say, well, then what are you waiting for? Get down there! Like, he's not saying anything out loud, but he's doing those actions. So to everyone else, he just looks like he's like staring angrily down toward the bottom of the ship.
Old Benji makes an unusual appearance on top deck. You remember this Esme Rose's dad, this like old gnome, just sees you doing that and goes, I don't know what the heck people are doing up here, and goes right back down. Onward and adventuresome. 16, as you guys, as the journey continues, 16 is going to meow, and if you look in your messages, this is what 16 says.
Mm-hmm. And so to everyone else, he just sort of, and he then turns to the rest of the group and he says, and then he just, to everyone else, he looks like he's frozen like this, but he speaks telepathically back to him and just says, are you sure?
Wow. Yeah, it describes to you this person down here.
Alistair!
What is it, my good friend, Olden?
He floats over to Alistair and he gets a little quick. He's like, apparently, there's some a red-skinned dragonborn down in the forests.
What's a dragonborn?
Well,
you guys, know, from your history, you have lived for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Dragonborn are not a common race anywhere, really, but they're not there aren't dragonborn on Vulpecaar, basically.
Okay. Would Olden know what they are?
You will know what they are just because one or two interactions that
okay,
you've talked about.
Okay, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Good. I forgot that most of you want. Well, imagine a humanoid dragon.
Well, dragons are incredibly dangerous, wild creatures.
Not as big, not as fire-breathy, still a little bit fire-breathy, or thunder-breathy, or acid. That's not the point. They're still kind of dangerous in the wrong moods, but generally not as dangerous as an actual dragon. Sometimes they're friendly.
He looks at you with incredulity on his face. A friendly dragon?
I know. It sounds absurd. I've only briefly met maybe a couple in my entire life, and we should be cautious around them. But we shouldn't treat them as though they are dragons. But also do, because they sometimes find it insulting, I believe, when you don't. But also don't, because they also find it insulting if you think they're scary because they're dragons.
Alistair's going to call out to everybody else on the ship and go, does anybody know anything about a dragonborn that might be in these woods down here? Is he one of yours? Do you have those on your world?
My assumption, we do.
FYI.
Yes.
There's the Kingdom of Care is a dragonborn nation in Sagalia.
Alistair, they are a common race amongst Sargalians.
Asai just puts her hand up.
Yes. What do you want to say there?
She just like points to herself and as if to go like, "Oh me, I know what those are. I know."
Awesome. Do you have any insight? You know where this person might be from? If they're...
She shakes her head no.
Okay.
Wonderful.
You know what Dragonborn are. Cool stuff.
Are Dragonborn friendly where you come from, aliens?
Aliens?
Yes!
Aliens?
Aliens!
I mean, aliens.
Oh, enough of that. We can talk about the alien thing later. Are they friendly where you come from? They're not from here.
To my station, yes.
Is this one going to be dangerous to us?
There was a Don, who was part of your envoy that came to Vulpecaar from Sagalia, but obviously you got separated from Aegeus, and you assumed that he went with Aegeus, and Aegeus said that everybody except Lucarian died. Aegeus looks at you and said, and says, you know, I thought, did Sobato go with you?
No.
Okay.
Are you saying that he wasn't with you? My assumption is that he perished.
My assumption was that he went with you and he perished.
So, okay. Well, this goes without saying then. We need to go and find him and get him on board.
Yeah. If we, you know, Sobato it was a strange person to send as an envoy. The people of Care on Sagalia are extraordinarily secretive about their culture. They live in the desert. They have a natural protection in that most people just can't make it to wherever they live traversing the desert. They die of dehydration. They sent Sobato because he could not speak or say anything about their people. So he was more there to observe.
I see.
Would that have been the guy that we saw in the prison?
I'm putting two and two together. Obviously, Rydon wouldn't have seen him.
Yeah. But Watson and Tolton, you would have seen this person for sure.
But Aegeus, it goes without saying then. Alistair?
Yes?
We have to go. We have to stop. I need to go down and get this Dragon Ball.
All right. I assume that you can vouch that he won't try to burn my ship.
Well, he won't try to burn your ship. Let's put it that way.
All right. Well, that's good. this ship slows down and descends to the top of the trees. Olden 16 says to you, and basically says, Dragonborn stopped and has seen me, but he's like basically just right below where you guys are.
I speak to 16 telepathically and say, "Go say hello." And I just sort of listen. I just waiting in my head. Just no. Did it go well? Take that as a yes. All right, we're ready to go. And he just starts marching toward where they're going to disembark.
Alistair uses his Storm Soul sorcerer ability to allow you guys to fly down. Assuming you guys all want to go down. So that he can take 6 people with him. So that's himself, the 5 of you, and let's say Aegeus. Or no, let's say Lucarian. It's probably a smarter idea just because it gets him a chance to look at the nature and stuff. And you guys descend, and it's beautiful under here. The canopy above makes the light come down in very very thick, bright beams of light that are like dapple, but like dance around on the forest floor in a very fey manner. Anybody on Cygalia who's familiar with their version of the Feywild, the Dreaming, that's the kind of energy that this place has. It's not the Feywild, but it is very fey in magic kind of feel. And you descend down, and there is a red dragonborn standing on the forest floor with a cat on his head, with the claws digging into his scalp.
Oh yes, another greeting successful.
Meow!
Here, come on. And I sort of like hold my arm out for 16 to sort of fly over and land on my arm and crawl up onto my shoulders.
Does so. You guys make it down to the forest floor.
A gesture for him to come over.
He comes over.
Are you okay?
Nods.
Are you sure?
Nods. He is going to try to speak in sign language. Does anybody speak sign language?
No.
Cool stuff. He kind of nods, understanding, points further into the forest.
I'm going to grab out my notepad
and
a pencil, and I'm going to go to him. Obviously, you can hear us. Obviously, you understand what we're saying. You can write. So there we go.
Olden, like,
and I'm going to tear out a few pieces of paper and give him one of my spare pencils and go, there you go.
Olden drifts in between the two of them and like sort of leans in toward the Dragonborn and goes, "Do you understand, Common?"
He does, yes.
Can you mouth it?
He can.
Then we can talk. I have the observant feat, so lip reading.
Yeah, very cool. He was going to write Infraconic, but the observant feat works really, really well for the situation. He mouths, but I will speak because you can hear. That actually took way too long for my brain to realize that was what I was going to do. I was like, how will I do this? No, just talk. And he says to you, my understanding was your people were enemies of my people, but you walk amongst people I know to be Cygalian.
Well, yes. Why would we be a threat to you?
Oh, I was captured by.
Let me
by
guess.
some of your people.
Henua.
Henua.
If I hear that name another time today and how she has disgraced Erua and his legacy, then I'd...
Sounds like you've got problems in house.
You could say that, or mouth it.
he laughs, kind of chuckling. You guys can all he does make a chuckling sound. He says to you, "Can you convey to my old companions that I am investigating? I was investigating the Orthodoxy, and they captured me. I'm now investigating the phenomena of this forest. I'm headed further in if they're interested in coming with."
I shall indeed. Would you like this conveyed to them in a subtle means, or is it fine to just say it?
Oh, you can just say it. It's honestly, it's nice to be able to communicate plainly.
Wonderful. He turns and looks straight at Rhydon and says, "Your friend here, he was investigating the Orthodoxy, and they captured him. Bloody Henua, of course. And now he has escaped and is investigating this forest."
Why can't he talk?
He opens his mouth. No tongue.
He has no tongue.
Leave that with me. I'm reckoning at some point I might be able to do something about that.
My good friend, we have means of travel and can traverse the skies rather than walking on foot.
He nods and looks around, and he says to Ulden to translate. I assume you're just going to convey what he says.
Yeah.
So he says that honestly might be preferable. I get the feeling the forest isn't happy that I'm here.
Roll it up. Let's get back on board.
He does explain it to you guys who helped him out of World Elkar. Sorry, Nin?
Would I be able to speak with plants to find out if the forest is okay with it or not?
Okay.
I love this spell.
Okay, yes, you can. We'll do that in just a second.
No problem.
That's going to be awesome. He's just going to explain to Tolton and Whatsit. He recognizes you guys, and he says, "Thanks for letting me out. I didn't realize, I didn't know who you were, and I had a lot of investigating to do, so I decided to head out on my own."
And that's conveyed through
Ulden, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm just going to go, no problem.
Right, I'm going to do something about your tongue. Just leave it with me.
I almost appreciate it if you didn't, because this was done. I did this voluntarily as part of a thing with my people so that I could leave as an envoy. So
I believe that.
You believe in Grumsh?
No.
All right.
Shush.
You don't believe in Grumsh?
Shush. I didn't say that either. Shush.
All right.
Now, I believe that some people of some of my colleagues back home created, shall we say, prosthetic limbs that would function as good as a normal one, or replacements for eyes and things like that. I don't see why we couldn't, between us, make something that you could put in your mouth, maybe. That way you could take it out when you didn't need it.
He nods and says, "I appreciate that. I appreciate the thought, but it's really not worth the trouble. But thank you for offering. People, it has been something I've noticed that the peoples of the other kingdoms, especially, are much more generous than we are led to believe as in the heart of care. And so I appreciate that. Yeah, this is Sobato is his name. He has joined your group. Asai, you and Lucarian are having a look around in this forest. First thing, give me a nature check.
Speak with animals procs. You get a message back from a plant. I'm gonna kill you. Oh, we gotta run.
I'm gonna look up speak with plants so I know exactly what this thing does.
So
17.
Sorry, what was that?
17.
17. The feeling you get, especially if is it Roko, the horse? Nin?
Yes, you're right. I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. So I is Roko down here with you?
I would assume so, yeah.
Cool. The feeling of the nature around here is it's a strange mixture. It's incredibly friendly towards. There's a friend like you personally get a feeling of extreme welcome from this place. It seems to you like this place is actively wanting to make you feel at home and make you feel like, you know, this is a good place to be a druid and to be if you are a person who likes nature. But there's also definitely a feeling of malice against anything that can breathe fire here, anything that is of that can be harmful to the woods themselves. So against Roko, against Sobato, even against Olden, because Olden represents people who are typically not in touch with nature very much. There's just this feeling of like if you're not really with the forest, you're kind of against the forest. But you can speak with plants if you would like, and talk to the plants if you would like.
Yes, indeedy.
You imbue plants within 30 feet of you with limited sentience and animation, giving the ability to communicate with you and follow your simple commands. Defensive spells are affected. Okay, very cool. And spells area within the past day, gaining information about creatures that have passed, whether or other circumstances you can turn difficult terrain caused by plant growth. Ordinary terrain. Oh, this is really cool.
Well, I should hope so. It's a pretty high level spell.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm just looking at like you can like they can uproot themselves and come follow you, and if a plant creatures in the air. Okay, this spell can cause the plants created by a entangle spell to release a restrained creature. Cool. All right. Is there any specific plant? There are trees around. There's kind of a thicket. There are plenty of flowers. And grasses and things like that. Mushrooms.
Oh, mushrooms.
Yeah, a couple mushrooms.
Might probably go to the mushrooms or something. I don't know. I'd probably just find something.
You can go over to these mushrooms and cast the spell. This little mushroom is going to become animated and will pop a couple of little feet out of the ground. With little roots that allow it to walk around. And it kind of goes, "Wow, I can move around. This is kind of cool. Hi."
I wave at the little mushroom.
Little mushroom, little thing comes out of its and little stump that it waves back. Well,
I sort of
hi.
look back to everyone else and sort of like, gesture like, come on over.
Little guy goes, there are a lot of people around. That's not normal.
I pick up the mushroom.
Oh, yay. You smell like mushroom people. I like you.
I hold it out to like everyone, like sort of presenting it, like waiting for people to like ask their questions.
Cool.
Is this thing talking out loud? It's not just talking to her.
Well, I'm actually not sure about that.
I think it can. You gain the ability to magically communicate.
Yeah, not
with
anyone else.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm still gonna hold it up, like, so people can ask the questions, so then I can communicate with it.
Yeah.
I know a good recipe.
I do. I taste really good.
Yeah.
You
You
might
can
be
pick
lying. You might be lying.
Pick me, fry me up, put me in your belly.
Yeah.
I'm slightly uncomfortable out of character.
I got Hitchhiker's Guide and a pig in mind. The restaurant at the end of the universe.
Yeah. Very Douglas Adams, this mushroom. Is that what you guys have picked me for? You guys want to talk to me before you eat me?
No.
She shakes her head no.
We need to know, somebody else lives in this forest.
Yeah.
Someone kind of like, do you know that who I'm referring to?
I'll probably like translate through like nodding or like whatever.
Well, yeah, you can communicate perfectly with this mushroom, and then yeah, with everybody else. Do you again, like, you don't really speak, but do you speak Druidic?
She can't speak at all.
Okay, yeah, okay,
But
cool.
she'll like gesture and she'll like, if she needs to, she'll write stuff down.
Got it.
It's probably psychic. I imagine it's probably psychic, the communication with the mushroom anyway. So
probably.
Yeah, but like when communicating it like to you guys and stuff.
Yeah.
Like for reference, like she does understand Druidic.
Yeah.
She just
like
any other language can't speak it. Yeah.
Cool. But we'll just say that for simplicity's sake, you guys can ask and it will respond. He goes, well, yeah, the big mama tree is the biggest person who lives in the whole forest.
That's interesting. Thank you. Is there anybody else of significance?
I mean, there are lots of animals and lots of other trees, but they're all the children. There are some guardians. There are some guardians who help keep the forest safe.
Can you keep us safe?
Well, that depends. Where you guys are going to go, what you guys are going to do.
Well, I think we're probably going to head to this tree.
Oh, you want to talk to the big mama tree? She has a name, and in Druidic, this is a name that doesn't translate well to other languages. But in Druidic, the name of basically what you'll end up having to communicate Big Mama Tree to everybody, but it is Glymerosa is the name of this tree.
Okay.
And he says, the thing about visiting Big Mama Tree is that she doesn't like it when people who aren't like part of the cycle of nature come to see her. Like, she doesn't like it if you're not able to like make a bunch of plants and you spread the powers of nature around the world. Like, she appreciates other people who are kind of like guardians and shepherds of nature. But if you're not that, then she pretty much assumes that you're here to like cut down the trees.
I don't think she's
eat the
gonna like
mushrooms.
I don't think she's going to like me very much if she likes nature. I've got a pretend bear.
looks at Bessie and goes, "This is exactly the kind of shit that she hates."
Maybe we'll just fly over.
The one piece of content to make this a 15 was set by a mushroom.
Oh yeah, damn it! I completely blanked on that. She is going to absolutely tear you to pieces and eat you like me, like a mushroom. So I can't. I wouldn't want to keep you safe from Big Mama.
Well, we could just go burn her down.
Well, you could try, but then I'd be obligated to try to kill you.
What's it? Great idea for elsewhere, but definitely not here. Not right now.
All right, okay.
You say we could always go burn her down. The forest gets very dark very quickly.
No. What have you done?
Ulden sort of kneels down and gets very close to the mushroom. He just goes, "When you talk about how she really only likes those nature, what degrees of nature are you talking?"
Talking about plants, really.
Well, what about gravity? Does the apple not fall from the tree, which then plants the seed that grow another tree? That is gravity.
His head goes,
Is it not gravity that drops the spores of your kin that allow them to spread? I know.
Mark, there's someone at the door.
I know. Ignore it.
Motion.
Mushroom says, "I mean, you do have a flying cat."
Yes.
And so if your flying cat will vouch for you, maybe she'll let you
16.
say hi.
Sitting on my shoulder. What do you say? Will you vouch for me?
Wow, I want to eat that mushroom.
No. Stop that.
Wow.
He says he will.
Puddles.
No, he didn't.
16.
Wow. All right. Well, I mean, I can't talk for Big Mama Tree myself, but that's what I assume she would do.
Well, then let's try that.
Oh, perhaps, yeah, and if you bring those big scary fire horse, she'll try to kill everyone.
Then we won't do that. Not the big scary fire horse, nor the stomping steel dog.
Yeah. She might not kill. Yeah, no, it's probably a better idea.
So we'll leave them on the ship, shall we?
Puddles.
Yeah.
I would like to directly communicate to Coralon, please.
Patch you right through. Go ahead and roll me a D100.
It's like dial-up.
Josh?
Yes.
You know the green flame blades?
Yes.
Do they require attunement?
Nope. Well, I thought. Wait, did they? I thought they did.
I don't know.
I don't believe they did.
Did they not?
No. Maybe they didn't.
Because they're not magical. You said
they
don't
are,
count.
Well, they are magical.
But at the same time, they're not. So I don't know.
No, they are. They're straight magic items.
Yeah. But I know that like +1s and things like that wouldn't. So, or do they? I don't know. It depends on the item. That's what I'm saying.
It does depend on the item. No, these don't require attunement. They're they're not.
Cool. Thank you.
I'm gonna say no.
82.
82. Yeah, 100%. Patches you straight through to Coralon. He's there on the other side when you're ready.
Okay.
Who is this?
I am Rhydon Athronus.
Rhydon Athronus. How is my champion? Where's Aegeus?
He is fine. I grab hold of Aegeus. I put him closer towards me.
He's on the ship.
Oh, he's on the. Oh, that's.
Yeah.
He's fine.
All right. What is it you want?
I'm going to be speaking to. Just to get this straight, Coralon is the god of nature. Did I get that correct?
Coralon is one of the elvish pantheon. He is more a knowledge domain god than he is a nature domain god. But among his retinue are people who are more nature based. So
all intents and purposes, I'm going to keep him on the line.
You're just gonna keep him on the line?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah. 100%. So he's saying, you appear to be. I can sense an energy from this forest.
This is why I've contacted you. I feel like your expertise or something that you know would be of use in the situation in case we need it, and maybe your divine knowledge or something along those lines could help us if needs be.
If you are where I think you are, and this is okay, out of character, you contacting Coralon is a clutch move right here. This is crazy. He knows what it is you're going to see.
Nailed it.
Crazy. That's such a great use of your connection to Saigalia.
Just the hunch,
Coralon says to you, there's an awful lot to explain, but the essence is that you are going to meet one of the first living beings that existed in the universe. When the first worlds were formed, the first beings were the plant life, and the monarchs of all the plant life were the trees. And these were not the trees that we have on Saigalia. These were beings of truly extraordinary power. There are legends that the elves themselves were born of the first trees.
Did we have one on Saigalia then?
No.
Right. So they're going to see us as, well, she or it or he will see us as very differently.
From what I understand of Vulpecaar, there shouldn't be a member of that race on that world. The fact that there is interesting, to say the least. If Aegeus can go with you when you go to meet this tree, that will be perhaps beneficial.
I'll take him.
Cool. So you...
Coralon, if you'd like to stay there, just in case we need you there, fantastic. If not, I understand.
The first chance to speak to a member of the first race? More than happy to do that, yes.
Okay.
Let's go into battle. with a god on hold.
The god on hold! This is crazy, and I don't know what's going to happen.
The bigger question is, has it got music playing while it's on hold?
Yeah.
Is it like playing Greensleeves or something?
Yeah.
Coralon puts some really obnoxious hold music on. Yeah. No. He's fine. He'll just stay on the other line and listen. Puddles, gonna say, I can hold this, but it means I probably won't be good for combat if we do end up in combat.
I don't think we'll be in combat.
All right.
But if we do, is there a way of stopping the connection and then using?
Yeah, for sure. You just drop the connection to Coralon and I'll be fine.
Okay. Puddles, I really don't like saying I'm going to use you, but unfortunately, for these instances, I will need to use you.
Whatever you need to, whatever kind of word choice makes you most comfortable is fine.
Good guy, Puddles. Good guy.
does his best.
He does.
Fantastic. The forest has grown dark. Lucarian kneels down and lays a hand on the ground and whispers something in Druidic, and the light very slowly returns to the area where you're standing. Lucarian says, if we're going to go, we should probably go now.
I fully agree. We will need to take Aegeus with us. Aegeus has some information that will be useful in the next segment.
Cool. You guys make your way back up to the Alacrity and continue on your way. And as you continue, about 20 minutes later, you see what looked like a hill. Coming up, it looked like there's like a bound where the trees like go up and then down the side of the hill. Turns out, no, that's the foliage of one pretty enormous tree that stands about 4 times above the rest and so wide as to encompass the length of the Alacrity 3 times.
Alistair, I think that's where we need to head to.
Alistair goes, we're headed for the big one then, are we? Alrighty. It's going to be really hard to miss.
Don't fly it into the tree.
You don't want to crash right into the tree. All right. You guys fly forward, and then you are above. You're above the the big tree. So he can take 6 people with him down to the surface. If you, Aegeus is going to. Do clerics have fly as a spell?
No, not as a standard, no.
Not standard.
While they're sort of debating who's going to go, Olden just sort of turns to Alistair and says, "Well, Alistair, you're forgetting what my studies were."
Of course I was. Look at you hovering above my deck.
Yes. You deal with all of them. I'll get myself down. 16 can fly. He's fine. And I cast Levitate on myself.
Fantastic. So he'll bring both Lucarian and Aegeus down with all of you.
Sorry, not levitate, featherfall. Sorry, just to
featherfall. That makes sense. Although you could theoretically cast levitate and then just stop concentrating on it.
I could, but that would waste a 2nd level spell slot rather than a
first.
Oh,
got it. Yeah.
Just I cast wish to fly for 20 seconds.
Yeah. And as I'm like floating down from the deck, I'm sort of looking at the big shining glowing gauntlet bracers that I have on, and I'm sort of thinking to myself, these do look rather unnatural, don't they? And I just cast Prestidigitation twice, once on each arm, to just sort of blank them out using just make a solid color over an object.
Sure.
To just sort of blank them out.
I just thought another way I can do it, which would be a what's it way. I just jump.
Just yeet yourself off the edge.
Yeah. And then as soon as superhero landing, I die. Orc get a 0 hit points, and then I go to 1.
And then go.
It's like one of the best ways to play Descent into Avernus and skip the entire tutorial is start play an evil character and then kill yourself, and then you end up in Avernus anyway.
You heard it here first, folks. Descent into Avernus coming to
Love it.
Brilliant. You guys make your way down. It's a long way down, and this tree is so big. It's so massive. It would put modern skyscrapers to shame.
Actually, I don't mean to interrupt, but if anyone else, how many? 5. Yes. So up to 4 other people as well as me, extra. If that's Dust or anyone else wants to come with. Featherfall affects up to 5 people. So me being one, I can bring 4 other people safely to the ground with me.
I jump.
That's really cool. You jump?
Well, you can fly down on your poxy mount, can't you?
We're leaving the horse. We're leaving it.
And I give you this gift of a fiend.
Okay, I'm sorry. Nin, Asai just jumps off the side?
She jumps, like, to land on the tree.
Oh, okay. So you guys are not directly above this tree. You're kind of... You're a place where you can land.
I said what I said.
So you
When
want
she
to jump
jumps
on
off,
the tree.
That's when I sort of jump off as well and tell anyone that's coming with me with my featherfall to jump as well, and I have all of us, Nin included, fall slowly. Sorry for that interruption. I just wanted if anyone else wants to join.
You grab Asai.
Yeah, when Asai goes to jump off, because it's a 60 feet range, so just as long as I can see them. So like if Dust is coming with us, for example, I just grab Dust and throw us both off of the side and and cast Featherfall.
Dust says, actually, I will be staying here to keep looking. Oh God!
So we then float to the ground. Apologies for that interruption.
You guys bring Dust with you, and you make your way down to the forest floor. The air in this area is much thicker. The humidity is very high. There's an oppressive feeling of magic around.
That's fine. I'm only wearing leaves.
Yeah, Asai is happy. You see growing on this tree are some of the most enormous fungi you have ever seen, Asai. And you kind of make your way down. And you stand at the bottom, and Dust and Alistair look around at you and Lucarian and kind of go, all right, what next? Lucarian looks at you and goes, you did the honors last time, little sister. Do you want me to do it this time?
Muted.
I think she's just too busy, like, looking around her to, like, even care what anyone else is saying, so sure, go ahead.
Great. Lucarian goes up to one of these massive roots and puts his hand on it and casts Speak with Plants. He's completely still for about 30 seconds. And then he turns back to you. And when he turns back to you, his eyes have gone blue. The same color as the marks down his face.
I love it when you change this music.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite tracks that I've got. He turns back. So, who do I have the pleasure of welcoming?
Can I just clarify?
Asai would usually introduce herself by carving her name into the closest tree. I don't know if I should do that. I feel like Asai would do that, but
It's up to you.
she
Just
doesn't.
walks up to the main tree and just strikes a sigh. Ow, ow, ow. I'll step forward. So, my name is Riodon Athronus. I am not from Vulpecaar.
I know you from the memories of the guardian you have brought back to me.
The guardian I brought back to you.
Looks down at the arms It's been a long time since I had one of my vessels. Thank you. After we scattered, many were lost. I thought I would never see one again.
Lucarian was a good friend of mine.
Lucarian. Good name. Good name for Hoiken, guardian of nature, and vessel to the first ones. You come, looks up again, from Saigalia.
That's correct.
Ha. You come from the Chaos world.
That's interesting. I take a step back and just my right foot, just subtly.
Subtly, you hear Coralon through your connection, saying, you can tell that he's kind of like connected to Aegeus more than to you.
I'm the vessel.
It's kind of the magic goes through you, but Coralon, basically, basically says to you I would warn extreme caution, talking to a being such as this.
Beings such as this are a speciality.
Lucarian looks around at everybody else.
I'm what's it? A champion of Grumsh, a slayer of much, really smart. I'm sure I got some other titles. Yeah.
You are of the orc kin.
Yeah. Is that a problem?
Nature has always been very strong in the veins of the orc kin.
I feel that, you're right.
You, and again, this weird kind of these cyan eyes kind of roll, you can kind of see where the pupils are. They're rolling back a little bit. Your race has become lessened on the Chaos world.
And it look deadly serious in that. And it says, for now.
Perhaps. And Uldin.
Up until now, has just been sort of writing down in his journal again. Just sort of lowers the book down and stares directly at the vessel.
Uldin, who hears music in his mind.
You know of the music?
And Lucarian's mouth kind of and begins to hum very slightly one of the refrains that you've heard in your head.
Music. It's playing again.
And the music gets strong in your mind as
he starts clenching his fist, and he actually snaps the quill in his hand. The effect over his gauntlets dissipates, and there's almost like a vibrating around him.
There is peace here for you, Uldin Broken Mind. And the music goes. For the first time, fully gone. in 10 years.
Silent. Music, where did the music...
Your memory is back. Your feet touch the ground.
What have you done?
While you are here, Uldin, you shall be safe.
He flexes his wrist, and another quill seems to like. There's like a little black hole appears in the palm of his hand, and a quill shoots out of it. He uses wrist pocket belt. A quill shoots out, and he grabs it, and he just and writes down some more things in his journal.
I wish for you the best, for they are few who contact those you have been in contact with, and make it back.
Those? He actually drops the journal and the quill and starts now walking right toward Lucarian. What do you mean, those?
There are beings far stronger than you, little Vidalkin.
You know what I saw that day. You know what it said to me. What did it say?
You get a little too close, and Lucarian raises a hand, and you vines and roots come up and entangle you and restrict. You are restrained.
Okay.
And it's like it's the calmest thing in the world.
He sort of is his mouth covered, or is his mouth still free?
Mouth is still free.
He sort of his like shouting sort of turns into like a almost a mumbling, and he just is repeating over. You know what they said? What did they say? The music. Where did the music go? What are those words? Just over and over, that sort of thing.
Turns away from you to Tolton. Tolton, did you bring Bessie down?
What? That's why I messaged you. I don't know if you saw
No,
it. What I was going to say was, if I jumped on Bessie and he'd put free Featherfall on Bessie, would that not ride us both down?
Yes.
Okay, then that's what I would have done.
Lucarian looks at you. You got Bessie nearby.
I'm currently sitting on Bessie.
Sitting on Bessie.
And I'm still not as tall as anybody else.
Tolton, who was born without magic, desperately trying to recreate the nature you could not connect to. I have sympathy for you.
Just because I didn't follow the same path as everybody else doesn't make me different to anybody else.
Some do not have the connection. Such is the way with the smaller life. And
are you being rude about my size?
Finally. Completely ignores that. A sigh. Poor child.
Is that it? It's just poor child.
Poor child. No, there's more.
Move on. Poor child.
You are beloved of the forests, beloved of the spores. You come with blessings, and will go with such. Looks back to there's Aegeus, and looks at Aegeus and says, and the manifestation of our children. Hello, Coralon. Coralon speaks. Everybody can hear him speak, and there's this kind of shimmering, and you can see that this kind of veil goes over Aegeus's features, and it is Coralon speaking out of Aegeus's body. People remember Glymerosa Our people tried to bring seedlings to the Chaos World, and, well, it was hard. It was a hard time, the scattering. Yes, it was a hard time for us all. But to create you, cruel, bigoted Coralon, who excluded the orc kind from the Accord, who allowed prejudices and fears to govern the proud elvish people of Cygalia. This is not worthy of our children. Coralon, I resent that. I have guided our people, I have guided your children to the best of my ability since the scattering. I have done what needed to be done to survive the rivalry with the orc kind. It was us or them. It is funny that you justify it such. The Esmerans justified it as such as well. When they fought for Vulpecaar and the old empire, I thought you would want our people to be better than the old empire. I would have thought you would want our people to be better than Seriphiel and Darafel. But perhaps I am just disappointed today. Coralon disappears. And the tree speaks to the rest of you again. You have made enemies of the orthodoxy. The people of Erua, who came to me long ago, wanting to learn the secrets of the old empire, wanting to save this world. And when he came, he promised salvation for my forests against the Esmeralda's wrath. And I agreed. And I gave him the knowledge of the old empire. I can assume from the knowledge in our guardian that you seek the same power as Erua. Why, Riadon, Uldin, Tolton, Asai, Aegeus, and Whatsit, should I give you power when the power I gave before was corrupted in its use, when those who wielded it became vessels for the same corruption that they sought to overcome? Why should I care what happens outside the forest walls?
I'll draw my sword. I'll put it down on the ground. I said, because I am the Accord. Oh, for God's sake. So irritating.
What's irritating? Oh, you frozen?
That
We'll never know.
Oh no!
Oh!
Puddles is on the ground in front of the tree. This is, oh man.
There he is.
You're back.
I'm here. Right. I draw my sword. I place it on the ground. I don't stick it in the ground. I place it on the ground.
Yep.
I say, because I am one with the Accord.
Those refugees who scattered from the old empire, found their way to the Chaos world and created the Accord. That has nothing to do with me. And the sword goes, oh, well that's, that's a little bit, I don't know, is that rude? Do we think that's rude? I don't know. And the tree says, no, Puddles. I am not being rude. I only mean to say the Accord has no power in Vulpecaar. Besides that, you bring with you.
I'm going to jump off Bessie, and I'm going to go, well, we gain nothing really. We're here for a purpose. And if we can aid you while doing what we're here for, surely that's a good thing. And at the end of that, you can have the power back. We don't want to keep it. I don't want to be corrupted by anything, let alone corrupt somebody else.
Is Ulden still bound, by the way?
Yeah!
He's still bound. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. When Eroa's name was mentioned, he stopped muttering and just started watching and listening. He'll sort of calmed down and just sort of listening.
Very cool.
And I'll say, Mr. Tree fella, are you a fella or are you a lady or neither?
I am both.
Oh, all right, that's confusing. All right. So, tree, person of nondescript, neither or both or which either. So, do you like my people? I'm a bit confused.
The orc kind on your world have become something other than what they were once.
What were they once?
They did not rely on war as a crutch.
Yeah. And do you know why we reverted to that?
No.
Because we were forgotten. We were lied to. Grumsh was promised, and he was forgotten. I think that's right. Yeah, that's how I get it. And he was shoved aside, and so we were shoved aside. So we got a bit angry.
The reactions of all of those who were affected in the old war can still be seen on the faces of their descendants, whether they remember it or not. Your people were mistreated very badly, and my children were responsible for your exclusion from the 10 kingdoms in the Accord.
Yeah, and you feel guilty for that?
I am deeply saddened by the actions of my children.
Right. There in itself is the reason why you should hand it over.
What exactly do you intend to do with the power I could bestow?
Princey, what are we doing with it?
Before Rhydon can reply to what's it, Ulden speaks up and says, "Release me from your grasp, and I shall tell you."
I'm not holding you.
No, to the tree.
Oh, sorry.
I got this vision of what's it going. My hands
that's exactly what I was doing. That was what's it, not Neil.
He's perfectly calm at this point, by the way.
Vines.
He just sort of, I'll give you one good reason as to why. Because you were promised that in return for the power you grant, that you will be offered protection. And the man that offered this promise to you, I know him. And I know that when he made this promise, he will have meant it. This is a man I have not seen in some time, as I have wandered the lands in search of my own ventures. and something has happened to him. I've only heard tales of the things that he and his people have done since I left. But I know who he is really. I know that he meant it. And if he himself will not remember that and fulfill it, then allow me to do it, not for myself, but for the man he was.
Roll me persuasion, please.
All right. Ooh, that's an 18 plus nothing, flat 18.
Okay, flat 18. Erua promised to knit the world back together. Erua promised an end to the old regime. He promised Vulpecaar would stand alone.
You know who I am. Do you know what my purpose was before the Sundering?
It just waits for you to continue.
I worked alongside a select team, alongside Erua, to raise Vulpecaar from its bindings, from its shackles, from its overlords, where we could stand on our own amongst them.
That is always the failing of the lesser people.
Then grant me the wisdom to see beyond that, alongside your gift. And not only shall the promise be fulfilled and the world of Vulpecaar re-stitched and become whole again, but your vision, my vision, to see this creation, this land, become what it should be, shall be reality.
What will you use the power to do specifically?
To bring Vulpecaar to its glory.
Glory is a word used by you. I care about balance.
To make it whole once more. What comes after, but nothing can come while the world lies in shards.
And now, Uldin Mathravan, we begin to understand one another.
I will add to that. You want to know what I would do with it?
What will you do, child of Grumsh?
I was taken from a pup and never with a home, never given a place. Everything taken from me, nothing ever given to me. The same as my people. Beaten, destroyed, never respected, never given a place. We deserve a place. We deserve a home. That's what I would do with it. I would give my people a home.
What's it? I believe it would be greatly healing for you and for your people to meet those of you who didn't go to Zygalia. Eyes quest upward. There is one as yet unburied and unlaid to rest, who carries knowledge which perhaps could be of avail to you.
Thano?
With your permission, I shall bring him down and lay him to rest beneath my roots.
That's his vessel. That's not Thano anymore. Thano's here. He taps on his bag. And you can
raises a hand. Verdant light ripples from not just from Lacarian's hand, but like from the tree, from all the forest around. Reaches up to the ship, lowers down the body of Thano. And you see lays the body on the ground. Lacarian goes and stands above the body and lays a hand on Thano's forehead. The Dreltar have much to teach when it comes to the knowledge that lies in the body and not with the spirit. Though Thano is gone.
Not gone.
From this vessel, there is much that is stored in the muscle and in the brain and in the nerves that can be gleaned. The last thoughts and acts that this body took, I will convey to you. And light softly glows around Thano's body. And you see images are created before all of you. You hear the voice of Thano calling out those 10 words. Brenial, an enemy. Free our people from Hidden Realm. You see his body on your spear. What's it? Hear those words? Cuddle me. You see him up in the air, holding the orb. And the decision being made. Looking down at all of you as the undead descend upon you to save all of your lives. And then the scene shifts, and it shifts to the perspective of somebody that you recognize. This is Henua. Henua's young. She stands on the shores of an island of red sand. She walks for a while, makes it into a city, an incredibly architecturally what am I looking for? A complex, beautiful city, makes it into a temple, and reads, writing in Orcish, that says, "These are the words you must speak to save, to bring our people back. We hid away from the Sundering in a pocket dimension." You see Henua make the decision. These people had betrayed the Orthodoxy. They betrayed Vulpecaar by not standing up against the gods. When asked, she decides not to bring them back. The visions fade.
A spear in my hand. I in this time he would have pulled the spear out, and seeing her, and he's got the spear crackling in his hand.
Your people are out there. What's it? And it was his dying wish that you know that. Brenial, an enemy. I know nothing of Brenial. All I know, she points to the bag of holding. Vicarian points to the bag of holding that you carry. Is you carry a silver eye in your bag.
Is that Thano, you mean?
No. I mean, somebody from the Orthodoxy has been tracking you. Somebody from the Orthodoxy is monitoring both you, Watsit, and you, Ryadon.
Yeah, I've got plans for that.
How?
By way of the spell tongue.
I understand he doesn't know that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go. That ring you're wearing, kind of get some of the spell tongue stuff, man.
I got a plan for that. Is a secret what's it plan.
In this sort of moment, you know how there was the tree had said about how Ulden's mind was sort of, while here his mind was clearer. Will he be in sort of as regards to like the spell tongue, a kind of like that heightened state of understanding?
Yes.
He then just sort of, you may have seen me there just sort of muttering the spell tongue. He walks straight over to Ryadon and just holds his hand out and says, "May I see your hand?"
Without saying anything, passes it to you.
Yeah, sort of looks. Are you still wearing the ring?
Yes.
Yeah. Can he see the spell tongue written around the ring?
Yes.
Can he clearly decipher which is the
Absolutely.
one for... Can he dispel it?
Yes.
He does it there and then.
I'm going to tell you what it says first.
Okay, yeah.
Because nobody identified this one.
Okay.
Basically, the way the ring that Watson originally had was one that had a marker on it that allowed somebody to scry on them. The other ring that Alisvain had was one that monitored the connection between the divine connection that allowed Alisvain to have spells between them and Psygalia. This ring monitors something a little bit harder to define. You see that whoever designed this was looking at Okay. Go ahead and roll me a history check, if you'd be so kind.
Okay.
Uldin.
Considering all the Vidalcan stuff, is this...
Yeah, you can do this with advantage.
Well, it's double proficiency with the Vidalcan.
Or double proficiency, yeah, that's right.
So, history... Alright. Okay, that is a 15 plus 8 plus the extra proficiency, so...
Jeez.
That's math. 15
so
plus...
6, did you say plus 8? So 16 plus 15 is 31.
No. So it's
15 plus
8.
8, which is 23, plus the
plus
extra
3.
proficiency, which is the 3, so 26.
So 26. Jeez. When you studied, there was a race, again, not a race that's native to Vulpecaar, but a race that you heard about because it's of a special interest to researchers at the university and various institutions in the pre-sundering of Vulpecaar. There was a race called the Kuotoa, who, by virtue of believing something powerfully enough, manifested gods.
Okay.
It's this absolutely bonkers ability that is unlike any other kind of magic that people have found out there.
I'm getting terrible thoughts, Josh. Terrible thoughts.
This ring is monitoring the belief and vision of Pelor from Ryadon.
Right.
almost it doesn't make sense because Rhydon's not a Kuo-toa and Pelor is not a Kuo-toa based god. But that's the wording that it would be. It would be similar. It reminds you of what somebody would do if they were trying to research the connection between Kuo-toa and the gods that they manifest.
Okay, then seeing that, his first instinct wouldn't be to dispel it, but he would be, with his past research and whatnot, would be very intrigued. Would he be able to add a rune, spell tongue rune to it?
Tell me the logic of what you're trying to make the spell do.
Essentially just a blocker. Like, keep the runes that are there, but add almost like an anti-magic field around the ring itself, so it couldn't be activated.
You can cross out the rune that the runes that connect it back to the original spell if you would like to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Just so it can't be activated remotely, but without getting rid of any of that stuff to do with the Kuo-toa.
Fantastic.
Can I learn anything from watching what he's doing, or make notes while he's doing what he's doing to see what I can pick up from that?
Make notes for sure.
Thank you.
Yep. You cross that out. The connection stops, so it's no longer going back to.
Okay.
Presumably the orthodoxy.
Would I know that the rest of the function of the ring would still work?
It's still monitoring. What it's monitoring, just that information's not going
it's just
anywhere
not being
now.
Relayed. Okay.
Exactly.
So it's still performing its function. The information just isn't being relayed anymore.
Yes.
All right. Gotcha. Awesome. That's exactly what I want to do with that one. I then look at Rhydon after doing that, and I say, how many more of these rings do your people carry?
This is mine. We had, I believe, 2 more.
Yeah.
Where are they?
I look at Watson.
I turn to Watson and I just say, Watson, my Orcish friend, might I see the ring a moment? The one in your hand.
You can see it.
Don't worry, I'm not going to make it useless to you or anything. What runes are on it?
I'll tell him anyway. I can tell you what's on there. I'll just go, if you're trying to see the spell tongue runes, I can tell you what's on there. Warding and Mark.
So this has a connection back to Cygalia. That is a connection that is being suppressed, so that it is not as strong as it should be. Mm-hmm. And it is measuring the relation of divine magic from a god to a mortal.
Okay. I relay that information to Watson. I say, the ring that you're currently wearing, it allows you to connect with your deity back in Cygalia.
Yeah, I know that. I'm not stupid.
I don't doubt that for a moment, my friend. Do you know that there is a dampener on it? It's not quite allowing it to live to its full potential in your hands.
All right, that makes sense. So, no.
All right. It's also sending information that really should not be sent back to the orthodoxy.
Yeah.
If you would allow me,
will it allow me to still keep in contact with the boss?
Yes. In fact, it should allow you to keep in contact with him even more so. The ring will still function for you and still allow you to talk to him. I'm merely just going to remove those dampeners, the grasp that the orthodoxy has upon it.
Can I do an insight check?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm assuming I don't need to roll deception because it's not a lie.
It's not a lie. Yeah.
That's. I mean, I know what you're saying, Mark.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm guessing I don't need to roll.
22.
So with the 22, you can 100%. This guy's legit. Yeah.
All right.
If it would make you feel even more comfortable, you can hold the ring while I do it.
Yeah. All right. I'll trust you. But just to say that if you lie to me, I'm going to do some very dirty, nasty things to you.
Then it's a good job I'm not lying to you.
Good. All right, that's right. Then we're friends.
And I want to do a slightly similar thing as I did to Rhydon's ring. Block that not remove the sigil, but stop it transmitting back to the Orthodoxy.
Yep.
And remove the dampener.
Fantastic. The dampener was something that the connection that Rhydon has with the Accord was circumventing, but now it's double the same effect.
Okay,
Fantastic.
I then say to him, I understand you have a third ring, but I believe you have plans for that one, did I hear you say?
Yeah, it's clever. Really clever.
I look forward to hearing your plans. You'll have to tell me over dinner some night.
All right.
While you're in a sharing mood,
Yes?
could you possibly write down a few of the spell tongue runes? Just a couple.
I suppose.
Or how the alphabet works, or something like that, just to give me a greater insight.
I fear it's much too complex to write down. It's one of those sort of things that you get it when you get it. It takes some time to understand it. It took some years in conversation with Erwa to really for me to understand what I do. And I must admit, I am still no master of it by any means.
Is that algebra?
Not quite, my friend.
That's how you were describing algebra.
But I could.
No,
certainly
I'm just
write down
interested
some
in
runes you have not come across yet.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Obviously, I've got the notes. You've seen them anyway. It's more the, how shall we say, the alphabet of it, if that makes sense. That's because I've got a very limited access to a handful of runes that I've seen. That's what it is.
How about
Here are the extra ones that you can learn. Just as these are all the ones that you've come into contact with so far. From all of the spells that you've seen, these are the keywords. You've already got mark, monitor, and dampen. You also get release. That's the one that helps get everybody out of the cages. Guide, which was one that guided the threads of source to become the bars of the prisons. Transition, that one is a teleportation substitute. Alarm. And block, which is the one that he's been using.
Well, how about because he's been working with the spell tongue stuff with the rings, and obviously working with all the spell tongue stuff is somewhat taxing. Would you consider it fair if I maybe rolled a dice, say a D4 or a D6, and that's maybe the amount of runes that Olden's able to sort of explain to Tolton before it sort of becomes a bit too, sort of demonstrate before it becomes a bit too, or how do you want
those are the ones. Those extra 5 are the ones that I'm saying that you could.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's extra ones there. There's more than I had.
Okay.
Yeah. So you should have 8 in total.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Not at
okay,
all.
That's fine then. Yep.
Lucarian is going to speak again. Lucarian says, the magic of the spell tongue becomes more powerful the closer you are to the threads of the weave, the source streams as you know them. Perhaps you don't know what those are and what exactly is at stake on Vulpecaar at the moment. So let me tell you. The world broke when the gods fought. The moons in the sky used to be land masses, part of the world, which now float around it. There is a ring around this world of debris from their battle, kind of like the rings of Saturn. The earth was rent asunder and became those scars that you have traversed, that lead deep, deep underground, and vast wastelands, the Blightlands, the Battleground, the Deadlands, are what remain in some areas. The streams of source that erupt from the ground are the earth bleeding. The life and magic and essence that makes this world a world and not a lifeless ball of rock is leaking out. The world is dying. And unless those wounds can be healed, those land masses return to the world, those scars close, and the islands brought back to rest on the ground. The time will come very soon, only in about 1,000 years, when the world will die forever.
Do you know how to fix it?
I thought Erua would use the great magics of the spell tongue combined with the source to wield magics to fix the world. I myself don't have the power to do it. Alistair is going to speak up at this point. He goes, "This is what I was talking about earlier. This was part of our deal, Riodon. If the world as a sentient thing usually isn't the worlds have a slower consciousness than anything that lives on it, slower than trees. Worlds don't care when eons pass, except in extraordinary situations, magical situations. When the world was threatened, that's when the primordials came, avatars of the earth, of the air, and the water to try to stop the fighting.
I remember.
If we free the primordials,
without the gods being here, it should be...
They should be able to fix the world.
So, you gave this power to somebody, and instead of using it to heal, they used it to basically empower themselves and those around them.
Erua fulfilled his bargain insofar as the Esmerans, you know them as the gods of this world, Darafel and Seriphiel. He captured them and prevented the total destruction of Vulpecaar, but instead there must have been a great deal of chaos and destruction because he imprisoned the primordials as well, instead of allowing them to fix the world. And I'm not sure. I don't have the information on why that decision was made.
No, it's not. The way I see it, it was Brenial. But the way I see it as well is that, as you said, these people were granted this power, this boon, and or at least one of them, and it kind of corrupted them, because power ultimately corrupts them, and they became self-absorbed and self-important. Now,
I don't know what has happened. In my anger, assume that the fact that the servants of Erua, this Henua character, and other members of the Orthodoxy are using the spell tongue that I gave exclusively to Erua, make me believe that it is a power that is corrupted. It is the power of the Esmerans, after all. You guys have gotten a lot of you guys have gotten out of game. You guys, like, out of character for a second. You guys have gotten a lot of information, and it's been in character and not necessarily in order. Are there any questions about everything that you've got so far that I can clarify?
No, I'm pretty good.
I'm good.
What's it? A turn round to Tolton and whisper in his ear, So the Earth's not very well. I'm guessing a Leicester restoration won't work.
Not unless you can turn it into
a greater restoration.
Bigger.
Oh, what's bigger than that? A heal spell.
Bigger than that. Bigger than a mass heal. Right. Because the way I see it is we can help because technically we don't live here. So we're offering to help. We gain getting our people back and things like that and the gods back for where we come from. But we also gain an ally should we assist and help you repair the world. Plus, and this is coming from a personal standpoint, there's two other things that would be really, really good here. And that is, firstly, she gets a comeuppance, because that I would really love to see. But more importantly, people get to live. That's the important thing here, because if we don't fix this, and nobody else is going to fix this, everybody here will die. Now, to me, that's a waste. Additionally, if they're using the source, this weave, in this manner, it's going to destroy the planet regardless of whether we help or not. So the way I see it is we need to return this weave back to where it came from, because I'm getting the impression that she didn't share all of this information with these people. And they are doing what she's asking them to do without the full knowledge of the fact that they're slowly killing themselves and everybody around them.
Henua for sure will do anything. You don't know about what Arawa has done or said, but yeah, you know enough about Henua to know that
assumption,
even with that assumption, it's pretty clear that's something that Henua would do. If she is aware that it's killing the planet, she probably doesn't care.
And and Brennial's a bit like that as well, isn't she?
Brennial, again, you don't really have a lot of information on. He helped you get away.
Him, yeah.
But
Henua, we want to see her killed off anyway. She's nasty. So, also, you see, the way I see it as well, she's imprisoned these elementals. The tree has called them primordials. Primordials, sorry.
They're avatars of
the
elements, basically.
Yeah.
But that happened at the same time as the gods were in prison. So that was the exalted wardens who did that, not Henua.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, but maintaining this control over them is stopping them from doing their job, which is fixing the planet. Which as well, I know that there's so many here are anti-gods, anti-deities. But at the end of the day, it's just like everything. To have balance, you've got to have both sides of every argument, both sides of every type, if you like. So, for example, without night, there is no day, and good and evil, and obviously it's a matter of perspective, but all those sorts of things. Now, if we free all of these things on a certain proviso, now I know that obviously things won't necessarily be perfect, but if we come up with some sort of contract or agreement or terms of service, so to speak, with everybody that's currently imprisoned, I don't see why we can't, in unison, repair, or at least begin to repair, the damage that's been done. But I'm getting the impression that we won't be able to do that without the power that you'll, give to us, or at least show us how to use. I don't want to keep it. You can have it back.
What is it the scientists of Fulcrest say? Your people on this world have a saying, and that is, you can't uninvent what has been invented. You can't put knowledge back in the box, I think is how they put it.
I get that. But in the same breath, if we continue to draw the power out of the planet, it'll end the planet.
What you can do, you have the orb of the Gammath orb, the artifact of the old empire. So you can free, in theory, you can free any of the beings who are currently imprisoned. You can free Pelor, Cerithiel, Darfel, if you so chose, but please don't, or the Primordials. What I offer is the knowledge to bring your people here. If you so wish, I can give that to you. And I can make all of you stronger so that you can fight the Orthodoxy better.
So you allow me to bring my people here?
I will allow you to bring your people here in the hope that through meeting those of you who were not driven to violence, you might foster a life and a nation worth living in, not just worth dying for.
But before we can do that, we've got to fix it, right? Otherwise, there's no point in bringing them here, because you're bringing them to a dying planet that will kill them as well.
Oh yes, we're talking about 1,000 years before the planet dies.
Mm-hmm. So we need to do that first.
That's the condition on which I will give you the power to fight the Orthodoxy.
Works for me.
I have the resources and capabilities of staging. Forgive me as I look at Lucarian when I say these words, but staging an assault on these walled elves to free the Primordials. That is the intention, no other intention. Does that make sense to you?
And now we see the truth of it. But it is what I expected. I have lived through much war, and much war between different worlds, but the need is great. And as long as Pelor is here, the accord will be unstable on Cygalia, which is a danger to all of you and all of your people. I am willing to make this deal with you all for our mutual benefit and out of a desperation to save myself, my children, this forest, and all of you. We must heal. Promise me that after the fighting is done, you will heal the world.
Alden immediately jumps in and goes, "A promise was already made to you by a good friend of mine, and I intend to see that promise fulfilled. Not just his, but what I have already said to you. I just have one small ask of all of you," and he looks around to everyone. Just, we will do what needs to be done, no matter the measures that are required. But I know Erua. For hundreds of years, I have known him. And I know this isn't him. Whatever has its grasp on him, spare him.
Alistair's gonna speak up and go, I don't know if I told you this, Olden, but I actually got a tango with Erua when I saved these guys from Vulpecaar.
Still as sprightly as he ever was, I imagine.
Let me tell you something, that was a bad idea. I was very nearly murdered.
Yeah, always
Killed
was.
in combat. He's very hard to kill.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, I don't want to see any of us here dead, but I'm glad he's not going to go down too easily.
And The trick will be making sure he doesn't take us down first. You see what I mean?
Yes, now that sounds like Henua.
Sorry?
Rhydon will step forward, look at the Karian and say, I swear to the old gods and to the new, and on Cygalia, that we will help in healing Vulpecaar.
Princey, don't necessarily swear for all of us. Swear for yourself.
I'm swearing for Gorendia, which is my home.
Fair enough.
Your sword kind of goes, and you know, and you can actually swear for all of Cygalia technically because you represent the Accord. And
I'm going to say this out loud. I said I understand, but Cygalia is in pieces, needs to be put together before I can swear on everybody.
Lucarian nods. It is with great hope that I take your hand. Goes to take your hand. Does so, and says, "All right, it is time." Thanos' body sinks down gently into the ground. 1 second. Sinks gently down into the ground. Flowers grow over where he is buried. The Karian says, this vessel will rest well, and as long as this forest stands, there will be those who remember his name.
His name is Thano.
For all of you, receive my blessing, and go forth for both our sakes. All of you will go up to level 7.
Woo!
And on the ground, Lucarian draws a circle of runes, which anybody can note down, memorize, whatever it is you want to do. Ulden and Tolton, you can recognize that these runes will very specifically open up a portal which will bypass the interplanar barrier and allow for troops to come through from Cygalia.
Excellent.
It needs to be written on the other side as well, and on the greatest source of magic possible that they can find. You'll only be able to use this next to or in next to one of these source streams, whether that be on the island or on the ground next to the island. It takes 1 minute to write out these runes and put spells into it to make it work. And it lasts for 1 hour.
Cool.
How many times can it be cast?
Be used once per source stream.
So now we've got to break into the prison, lads.
That will stage a beachhead.
And Lucarian says to you all, I thank you very greatly for what you will do, and hope victory, be it swift, and peace afterwards be long. And thank you once again for returning this Hoiken back to my services.
Before I go, I know you despise of war, I know you despise of conflict, but in understanding that this is to restore the balance which is required between two realms, will you, not you yourself, but any of your vessels or your children be joining us?
The reason for the Hoiken, gestures to himself, the reason for the elves, our children, is that we cannot go anywhere very much. We root down. I was brought here in the scattering as a seedling and grew. The Esmerans, for all their destruction, see a certain amount of respect for our people. We root down and require others to traverse in our stead. We would be willing to lend you this vessel to go to battle, but the elves of this world are not organized around. They are on their own path. Precisely. I have no forces to send you.
It would be good to fight with Lucarian once more after that, as long as he's understanding of that.
Thinks for a second. Lucarian has many questions, and he'll want to return. But he is yours for the moment. And the cyan lights go from his eyes, and he looks a little dizzy. He goes, I don't mind telling all of you, that was very odd, but very cool. I'm with you for this, and then I will come back. This is where I'm meant to be, I think.
I'm glad you're accepting and happy.
This is everything I've wanted for a long time. I don't mind telling you.
I'm really sorry, but I have to send the message. I'm going to go away from the party. They can still hear me. I'm going to send a message using puddles.
Right.
To the Queen of Gorendia, my sister.
Yeah.
Can you ready the armies of the 10 kingdoms? We require forces.
Yeah. I will also be going to commune and speak to Grumsh. And I will give Grumsh I would have written down the actual runes, and I would have given Grumsh the information about the actual circle, what the plan is.
So what you're saying is the first rune is like flat at the top and then squiggly on the bottom.
It's a squiggle. That's like a cat's whisker.
It's like a cat's whisker. All right. Is that like a 30-degree angle or?
It's 30 degrees. Is that like 3 o'clock?
Like if you think of it like there's a line.
Yeah.
Like how far above the horizon line is it?
It's then that's the general gist of the conversation. Yeah. About 8 hours of that.
With Grumps probably going, why did I make you the chosen again? Oh, man.
Grumsh won't begrudge him this. It'll be Ilneval who's next to him actually writing them out, kind of going like, oh, God.
Go like that. Go, hey, Grumps, can we get our money back on this one?
He's doing it.
And we still got the receipt.
Gosh.
Yes.
May I ask a slight out of character question?
Sure.
As we've now reached level 7, just as people have been talking, because wizards don't have a whole lot to do for level 7, it's just an extra spell. Well, they get access to 4th level spells, they get 2 spells, and they get more health. At level 4, I'm sure you've heard of the spell Banishment.
I have heard of it.
Part of the Banishment spell is if you cast it on someone or creature that's not from the plane that they are currently on, it sends them to their home plane. And if the spell expires, like after the 1 minute concentration, without breaking, then when the creature's sent to their home plane, they remain there. If they're native to the plane that they're on when you cast it, it sends them to a random one, and then after the minute they come back. If I was to say, purely hypothetical, I'm not doing that right now, but if I was to say, for example, cast it on Riodon, and just wait for a minute, would he be sent back to Cygalia?
Yeah. By the way, I get that spell as well, and I was thinking something similar.
I'm going to say there's only one way to find out.
Awesome. Okay, Riodon, you ready to lead that army yourself?
Honestly, it would be my pleasure. Covering!
There's something to look forward to come back to the next episode for.
With that, with the powers you have received and the knowledge you have gained, the Big Mama Tree allows you all to go back up to your ship, and you make ready for the next stages of your plans, and that is where we will end this session, except for this thing that he's going to say.
I'm really sorry.
No.
Please. It's potential I might not be here for the beginning of next episode.
Okay.
Yeah, he told me that.
I'm always in that case at the moment, so don't worry.
Just an FYI.
Yeah.
Okay. That's okay. Potentially,
could we, if it's a really important one, and I'm sure that people that are listening, we could start it later.
Yeah, that's absolutely a possibility. It potentially is just because you guys are going to be starting whatever campaign. Sorry, this is the campaign. Whatever war path.
Yeah.
you are on. It seems. So
we can say that we can start it later, which will be, from my personal point of view, that'll be Kenji friendly.
Kenji friendly? That is absolutely fine, and that means we might go a little bit later on if everybody's okay with that.
Yeah.
No bother for me.
Well, then let's do that. Everybody, keep an eye out on our social media. We'll let you know if we are starting late and if we intend to go later than we usually do. And if you watch this after the fact, then it doesn't affect you. You
can watch it anyway.
Watch it anytime
Just
you
enjoy
want.
the show.
That actually might be good for me as well. Just thinking about it. Alrighty. Fantastic. That is where we will end off. War cometh.
I've got to look up. I've got to look up mass combat rules now.
I do
Shouldn't
too.
have played the princess.
Yeah.
Sorry, Prince. Sorry.
How does Whatsit lead an entire nation of orcs in the battle?
Like that.
Kill him.
Them ones.
Kill. That's tactics.
Charge.
Kill that one. And that one.
I can see it, when you see children, like young children playing football, and the ball goes over there, and you just see the swarm of kids go, and then where the ball goes, that one.
That'll be a tactic never been seen in battle before.
Absolutely.
There will be some weird rule things happening.
Yes.
But you guys do need to still get it off in the first place.
Yes.
It'll be fine. Or it won't.
Fine.
Or it won't.
Where there's an Olden, there's a way.
I'm so excited
at the end of the world, it's not ours. It's not our world, is it? So,
well, it is my world.
Do you guys want to decide your target Wardell Carr so that we know
The prison.
Yeah.
Wardell Carr is Henua's, isn't it?
Mhm.
That's where you guys were imprisoned, to those of you who were, and that is where originally that was Breniel's.
Oh, it's Breniel's.
But the knowledge these guys have given you is that Henua's basically taken over.
Taking it over. Okay.
That's
Henua's-
where we're going.
Henua's home base was Wardell Glacus.
Okay. Then, very quickly before we switch off, I'll not do it in character just for the sake of time. As we're sort of, when people are sort of talking about bits and pieces, returning back to the ship, Ulden will suggest that we go to... which one did you say was Henua's?
Wardell Glacus was
Wardell
Henua's.
Glacus. Even if she's not there now, there could be much valuable information on her and how she got to where she is.
I don't need information.
My
Knowledge
thought
is
process
power.
My thought process on that is we have the element of surprise initially in pouring thousands of soldiers through the gates. If we come in and we attack a place of knowledge, they'll know we're coming.
But you forget
the
one.
other
You forget
places.
one tiny little thing. We don't have to march an army into Henua's old place. Some of us are familiar faces.
Yeah, but that's the
There
one
is-
thing. That's the one person.
Sorry. This is definitely one thing we need to do is the what's it way.
Oh,
I think
Wardell
what's
Carr
it-
is the what's it way, absolutely.
is to just go straight to the bad guys.
That or we stage a front from
Yeah, like a
multiple
a
places.
two-pronged attack. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a covert ops team going to get the information, and the full-on assault goes straight to the prison. Because we've got to free the gods, because, that's where you're drawing your power from. And that's what we're here for initially.
I'm going to
That
say,
Valley.
you guys have a lot of NPC allies. You could send some of them over there if you like.
Because somewhat of my thought is if a lot of her focus is over in Wardell Carr, if we heard, and I've forgotten its name already, Wardell
Glacus.
if a smaller amount of us, or just some familiar faces to them, were to go over there and perhaps, shall we say, acquire our own Wardell, while their focus is away from there, and then go the what's it way into Wardell Carr?
Okay, I know we ended the session, but we're not ending the session because we have to talk. We're talking about this. No. Let me just give you a piece of information, Olden, that you would know.
Okay.
And everybody else. This is information from earlier in the campaign. You know that every Wardell Island is connected with a teleportation circle.
Mhm.
All of them are connected with a teleportation circle.
So once you got one,
if you break into one, you can go straight inside Wardell Carr without needing to storm the front gates.
however, they would, once we're inside of one, they would know that and reinforce the others.
The downside is that they are all very interconnected. So if you go into one, you'll be able to get inside Wardell Carr for sure. But you just have to be very careful that the word doesn't get from Wardell Glacus to Wardell Carr.
Well, hear me out on this. If we're going to put the army inside Wardell Carr, we need somebody inside there with the to place the runes.
Mhm.
If me being a familiar face can get inside Wardell Glacus, I got it. Can get in there, make my way over to Wardell Carr. Oh yes, hello everyone. I've come back from a little bit of a journey. Boom! There's a portal. Hello. Yes.
Or I could just banish myself and go back and lead a orc army in.
But how you
Well,
going to get
that's-
the orc army in
you
without
wanna
someone
leave this
playing
all
the
down,
portal?
In theory, assuming the banishing thing works, if he does what he just said and you're on the other side, when
you can create the portal from that side.
Yeah, because you need one person in Segalia and one
side.
person in Vulpecaar to open the pathway.
Yeah, so you'll need him to do the runes, but if
So
potentially,
hell,
I'm not saying this is...
have both Watson leading the orcs and Riodon leading
Yeah,
whoever the hell is under
we
him.
could send 2 armies through 2 different thingies into 2 different
we can only make one. We can only make 1 portal per stream.
Per stream.
But we can make.
how many
there's
streams
more than
are
one stream. You could have a different stream in a different place.
Well, streams are power sources.
Yeah.
Oh.
So basically, you could, if we can get into 2 of them, we could assault 2 of them at exactly the same time.
I'll just go into Henua's old one, Wardle Glockus, make a rune there, tell them to wait there. I'll go through, make one in Wardelcar. So there's an army in Wardelcar, and there's an army coming into Wardelcar from Wardle Glockus. Sorted! Henua's dead. Alright, campaign over.
Good night.
Oh yeah, because things are that
easy.
simple.
No, it's
course.
never
Things are
that
that
simple.
easy in
It's
a very
never
highly
that.
lethal campaign.
We go back to Segalia. We get an army of illusion mages who create an army for us using Major Image.
Huh?
Then we lead the orcs, and I lead the Gorendian army, and we stage a 3-pronged attack with an illusion army on the side.
Oh, I love this. I love just spitballing about chaos.
This is so
Or
much fun.
we get a wish spell, and
Just wish them all dead.
no,
Done.
more clever than that. We go back to when she was born, and
Oh, here we
Back
go.
in time.
We use Spell Tongue, infuse it with the Banish spell, banish Henua to Sigalia, and then kill her in Sigalia.
Well, we have to get into there first. That's where I come in. Hello, Henua. Nice to meet you. I haven't seen you in some time. How are you doing? How's things? Yes. Could you hold this for me?
Could you hold this for me?
What is it? Oh, it's just a stick of dynamite. It's
No,
okay.
he does one even better. You know, tap someone in the back and stick a kick me sign on their back. He does that, but he's just taping one of those plates with an enhanced spell tongue banishment spell onto her back.
Oh God, that's amazing.
anyway, I think we should finish.
On that note,
I think we're done. Thank you all for this post-session planning.
yes. This is
awesome.
sometimes the stuff that goes on behind scene, and we've always said that we would record it in some way and post it. And this is the closest we've gotten.
Yes.
And this is just a small snippet.
Oh yes, a very small snippet.
When this season is done, we have to do like an actual a reflective talk back
Yeah, definitely.
of the whole thing.
We will definitely do that.
Yeah.
Do that. There might be alcohol involved in that as well.
It's possible that'll be necessary. Yeah.
Right.
Amazing. Thank you guys.
On which note, thank you once again.
Thanks everybody out
thank
there.
You to Josh for DMing.
Thank you.
That was
Yeah,
awesome.
thank you.
You're very
on a side
welcome.
note,
Yeah.
Just on a side note, I've just had somebody say the alignment of all of the images of just Pete Tong.
Just because
because
that's just the way OBS captures
It's
them.
just in case anybody questions it just there you go.
Yeah, that's literally
why.
all it is.
We apologise for that. Suddenly we're all kind of intermingled.
The 3 of us are okay.
Yeah. Hello, Anne. Hello, Anne. Hello, Anne. Give me a kiss.
What's even better is you've went to the wrong.
Sorry,
Oh, no,
hang
yeah.
on.
There you go.
There we go, that's
There you
better.
go. Let's get some of the cheek. All right. On that wonderful note, thank you all and farewell.
Have a good one.
Good night.
Take it
Take
easy.
care, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Join us on Twitch tomorrow for Curse of Strahd. Bye.
Stay safe.